with Nitish Kumar, and he was also upset that nobody from BJP ever addressed his insecurity. A. B. He was also uncomfortable with the two deputy chief minister and his recent spat with the speaker of the house. So all those things have brought more insecurity for Nitish Kumar, and in fact the embarrassment, and this is perhaps the reason, in fact many have been telling me that today is a day when he has decided to break the alliance, and now we are breaking this story that alliance has been broken completely. RJD, and what Maria is telling us is that RJD and JDU are coming together. There is no Bahar se Samarthan kind of a setup. RJD is going to be very much a part of this new government in Bihar, and in fact behind me you can see the movement has increased outside Rabri Devi's residence. We can expect Tejasvi Yadav to come out. The security has been beefed up. The Karyakartas have gathered here on Circular Road. This is a high security area, but despite that, the Karyakartas have come. They are enthusiastic. They are happy to witness the repeat of Mahagathbandhan in Bihar. And in fact, many are telling us कि अब बिहार से ज्यादा देश को नीतीश बाबू की जरूरत है, तो नीतीश बाबू को अब केंद्र में जाना चाहिए. ये बात भी कार्यकर्ता यहाँ पे हमें बता रहे हैं. Back to the studios.
And since you are saying a very interesting observation, or rather point made by you, Siddhant, you are saying that the Karyakartas there are talking about how the country needs Nitish Kumar. On that note, I'd like to refer back to what happened in Maharashtra. You know, there was a twist to the tail at the last moment when we actually saw the BJP announcing Shinde as the chief minister and Fadnavis as the deputy CM. Should we expect something of such a twist right now? And would you actually say that the possibility of Nitish Kumar continuing as the CM of Bihar is something that is solid and concrete, and there can't be any last moment changes?
Well, look, there can be. That's what I'm saying. There can be because there is no official announcement. There is no official word from any of these political parties. And how what is going to be the setup of this government, we really don't know. The only information that Maria has is that that RJD is going to be the part of the government, and this Maria has got exclusive for us. There's not going to be any Bahar se Samarthan. And also, since yesterday we are getting these hints, these indications that to revive the old politics of social justice, to get back the old politics of socialism. This step has been taken by Nitish Kumar, and also not just people in Bihar, RJD, but the other opposition parties also believe that Nitish Kumar is one face who can glue the other political opposition parties together. Other opposition parties will support his name for the Prime Minister's post in 2024. And in fact, that can also be the reason that he is entering in an alliance with RJD, and now he will be active in Delhi's politics, and he will his pitch is going to be a national pitch from now. So many are in fact
Siddhant,
telling
I'd
me this
also like you to focus on this kind of power sharing model that could emerge perhaps, but how this has almost become a symbiotic relationship of sorts, whether it's the JDU and the RJD alliance as of now. I'd like you to focus on how the JDU needed RJD, and the fact that as far as Nitish Kumar is concerned, there's been heavy anti-incumbency sentiment. Okay, Siddhant, I'm going to quickly hop over to Maria because she's back with us. Maria, now that it's official that the alliance is breaking up between the BJP and the JDU, I'd like you to now focus on the RJD-JDU alliance, and how till the last moment we can't really expect anything, because we've seen what happened in Maharashtra. There was a last moment twist to the tail. Should we still weigh in on a possibility of instead of Nitish Kumar, Tejasvi Yadav becoming a CM?
Unlikely.
Okay.
Nitish Kumar will not agree to play second fiddle to Tejasvi Yadav. So that's not happening at all. Nitish Kumar will be continuing as the chief minister. The only thing that will happen is that the alliance partner will change. We cannot expect any kind of surprise on that equation between the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister. It remains to be seen what kind of portfolios, Lalu Yadav has managed to negotiate for his son, Tejasvi Yadav. The fact that Tejasvi Yadav in that meeting with RJD MLAs has communicated very clearly that they should be in a position to defend this new alliance if the moment it takes shape in the next half an hour to 45 minutes. But again, as we have been saying, Nitish Kumar's new name, that he is a man of multiple political U-turns. Let's not forget that in Indian politics, there is no other politician who has done the number of U-turns that Nitish Kumar has done. How can he continue to defend the nature of politics that he does? What does Nitish Kumar stand up for as far as today is concerned? What is his politics? What does he mean when he says that the BJP was trying to make his government uncomfortable, that there was a degree of restlessness? He ran this government for 2 years. What made that government what made him so uncomfortable all of a sudden that he made this entire difference play out in full public view? And if indeed there was a lot of difference of opinion, did he make an effort to...
Alright, we are also getting in some breaking inputs. Maria, stay with us. Lalu Prasad Yadav is also closely watching every movement, but everything is being done by Tejasvi Yadav. The RJD sources have just now revealed that Lalu Yadav is very closely watching the movements, these political developments, but which are now being carried on by Tejasvi Yadav. So, Maria, as you were right now pointing out, is something that has also been confirmed by the RJD sources, that Lalu Yadav is very keenly watching these developments. I'm sure he will also have a say when it comes to deciding portfolio for his son Tejasvi Yadav.
Yes, so as far as Lalu is concerned, he is in Delhi because he's recuperating from an illness, but he is completely clued in what we are being told. The line of communication between Nitish Kumar and Lalu Yadav has been Upendra Kushwaha, who is the JDU state president, but it is Tejasvi who is addressing the party MLAs. It is Tejasvi Yadav who is taking the call in terms of the modalities that is being worked out, what next in terms of, extending the letter of support and others. So the big question is, will there be a new swearing-in ceremony? Will there be a new government in terms of Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav being sworn in? Or will there be Nitish Kumar continuing as the Chief Minister, only the alliance partner changing? So there are a lot of technicalities that are involved here onwards. At 4 p.m. is when the appointment has been given by the governor of Bihar, Chagu Chauhan. That is where the governor's residence is. And Saurav is right here with me. So Saurav, what are you picking up from BJP now? The BJP has been waiting for Nitish Kumar to make that first move, and its indication is all clear that the alliance is over.
But it's still indication, right? No official word has come from any JDU leaders right now. The BJP had finished its meeting, I guess, at 1 o'clock, and all the leaders left from there. But no official word came from BJP because they were waiting for the move of Nitish Kumar, what he's going to do. Now we have learned from the sources that this alliance is no more there, but the official version has not come from any of the leaders. So still, that's why we haven't got any word from BJP.
Yeah, so a bit of caution is what we are suggesting right now, while we look at various camps and monitor their moves. But in politics, as they say, it's never over till it's over.
Absolutely.
So let's wait for an official announcement to come in from the JDU, and also an official movement to come in from Tejasvi. But it's very clear that as far as that the JDU-BJP alliance is concerned, it has reached a dead end.
Fair enough, Maria, because we have still not heard any word from the BJP, at least. On that note, let me also go across to Siddhant. Siddhant, as we were discussing with Maria right now, the fact is that this alliance, as far as the BJP-JDU alliance is over, is something we know for sure. How far will the JDU go to accommodate Tejasvi and the RJD is the big question. What are the possibilities in front of the JDU-RJD alliance as far as the power sharing dynamics are concerned?
Well, that is something which two leaders need to sit and decide. And in fact, we have seen in the past that how Nitish Kumar had problem with Tejasvi and Tej Pratap, and in fact, while leaving Mahagathbandhan alliance, Nitish Kumar made it very clear that he was not being allowed to work smoothly. These two leaders, the son of Lalu Prasad Yadav, were involved in corruption and in fact many other things, and this is perhaps the reason that I'm leaving Mahagathbandhan. Now again coming back with them. First, Nitish Kumar needs to justify this step to his vote bank. Second, how he is going to adjust in this new alliance, and what all portfolios, powers will be shared with RJD, something which is to be seen. Also, I remember, the heated arguments that took place between Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav in the house during session. Also, Tejasvi Yadav time and again calling him as Chacha, Paltu Chacha, and Nitish Kumar also taking pot shots at Tejasvi Yadav. You remember that press conference where RJD made this allegation that to win election, BJP and Nitish Kumar made Pradhan Sachiv called district magistrate to make their candidate to win. So those kinds of allegations were also made in the past. Now, how are they going to build the narrative, and how are they going to justify this very step for their voters is something which is to be seen. Also, Mr. Nitish Kumar was scared of BJP running Operation Kamla in Bihar, scared of becoming Uddhav Thackeray by the hands of BJP. But going by his politics, he has started, it appears that he has started following the politics of late Ram Vilas Paswan. Sarkar kisi ki bhi ho, Mukhyamantri Nitish Kumar hi rahenge. The same was the politics of late Ram Vilas Paswan. Kisi ki bhi sarkar ho, kendra mein mantri Paswan ji zarur bante the. So I believe that this is the style of politics that Nitish has adopted now. In fact, Maria was also raising questions that somebody who comes from the background of socialism, social justice, and such a tall leader like Nitish Kumar taking U-turns after every 3 years also raises question on his politics and his ideology. So that is something where Nitish Kumar has to justify, has to clarify that why again he has taken this step, and also to assure people till when he is going to be in Mahagathbandhan, because that is also very uncertain when it comes to Nitish Kumar now.
Siddhant, stay with us because we are getting in some breaking inputs after the JDU breaks ranks from the NDA. The first reaction from a union minister has now come in. Kaushal Kishore has said that the BJP never initiated anything that may stir up a controversy or create a situation of uncertainty among them. This is the latest we are getting to you. Kaushal Kishore, the BJP never did anything to wrong the JDU. Let's quickly go across to Siddhant. Siddhant, how do you read this comment that's come in from Kaushal Kishore, clearly defending the BJP?
That's exactly what BJP leaders have been telling me since morning, that we have always respected Nitish Kumar. His equation with Prime Minister is known to everyone. In fact, at one public meeting, he greeted Prime Minister with this special gesture of bending down, and that particular videos and photographs were played by media. So BJP people are only saying that why is he insecure? Why is he scared? There is no Operation Kamla getting executed in Bihar, and there's nothing of that sort. And also BJP leaders are telling us that it was Tejasvi Yadav who used to take pot shot, who used to attack Nitish Babu by saying कि ये तो फेड हो चुके हैं, इनकी उम्र हो चुकी है, बिहार को नया जोश, नई उमंग चाहिए. So it was Tejasvi Yadav who used to attack Nitish Kumar, not BJP. BJP has always respected him. Also, they say that all this is happening because of the internal rift. He was not happy with the rise of RCP Singh in the party, because with the rise of RCP Singh, Nitish Kumar was getting this sense that BJP is creating one new Kurmi face in Bihar from his own party by giving him the central minister's post, and this person can damage him in future. In fact, many say that this is also one reason that Nitish Kumar was unhappy when RCP Singh became the central minister, and then also the rift between Lalan Singh and RCP Singh is one of the reasons why today the alliance is coming to an end.
But the other factor when we talk about the BJP that comes to our mind, the big question that comes to our mind is, what is BJP's forward strategy going to be now? Because as far as Kaushal Kishore's reaction is concerned, as a first sort of reaction we've got from the BJP, what are they going to do now? At the same time, we are getting in more breaking news as far as the JDU is concerned. JDU sources are now telling us that all MLAs, MLCs and MPs are telling Nitish Kumar that he should decide on behalf of the JDU. They are telling him that they stand with him. On that note, we'll also quickly get in some inputs from our reporters, but this is the latest we are telling you is that Nitish Kumar has been given a free hand, clearly indicating that the JDU's majority MLAs, MLCs and MPs are all standing with Nitish Kumar. The crucial question is how they move forward now, considering they've already given him a free hand. They've told Nitish Kumar that they stand with him and that they will be with Nitish Kumar with regards to whatever decision that Nitish Kumar takes. Now, what is the decision they're talking about? I'm sure there's also a hint of how the power sharing dynamics is going to be. Remember, there are possibilities that Nitish Kumar will be continuing as the chief minister with the deputy CM post going to Tejashwi Yadav. At the same time, several analysts are also indicating a last-minute twist to the tail, which could be a slight possibility of Tejashwi Yadav being given the ropes. On that note, let's also quickly go across to Maria Shakil, who's reporting live with us. Maria, clearly, Nitish Kumar has been given a free hand to decide on behalf of the JDU. How is one to read this sort of support that is coming in full majority for Nitish Kumar? That clearly goes on to say that he will now be thinking very wisely as far as the future move is concerned. Having said that, there's also been a lot of talk within his own cadre that they want Nitish Kumar to go on to national politics. What happens to Nitish Kumar's ambitions of taking over national politics?
Yes, just for a quick recap of our viewers, you can see that movement that has begun right in front of the governor's residence, that entire barricading that is being there. So the stage is set for the next course of action, which would mean essentially that cops have started putting in the ropes there to ensure that when Nitish Kumar and Tejashwi Yadav actually enter the governor's residence, there is proper security arrangement that is there. So what next for Nitish Kumar? What we are being told is that Nitish Kumar, the course of that MLA's meet, has communicated the circumstances which is forcing him to take this decision and what was really happening as far as the nature of alliance between the BJP and the JDU is concerned. What we are also told now is that Nitish Kumar has been given authority by all the legislators, the MLAs, the MLCs, because as the upper house and lower house, and also the MPs of the party who are all present at 1 Anne Mark, Nitish Kumar's residence, to decide the next course of action, whether he would be allying with the RJD, what will be the modalities in terms of the formula that has been worked out between him and Tejashwi Yadav. The MLAs are saying we are standing firmly with Nitish Kumar. Remember, that has been what was said by Lalan Singh yesterday, a day before yesterday, that he had spoken about some larger conspiracy behind the moves of RCP to repeat.
All right, we seem to be losing touch with Maria, but we'll quickly go back to Siddhant on that note. Siddhant, if you can hear me, we heard what Maria had to say. She's talking about the larger conspiracy being indicated by senior leaders within the JDU. Are you also learning of this conspiracy that is being talked about, and how it brings me? All right, Arun, if I may come to you, I believe you are at Misa Bharti's residence right now. What is the mood like on ground zero?
Well, that's right. I'm here at Misa Bharti's residence. Lalu Prasad Yadav is also here, and he is monitoring the situation very closely. What is is developing in Bihar, and he's not speaking at this moment. Perhaps he's waiting for things to really shape up a bit and official confirmation comes from the JDU side, then perhaps we'll see some sort of movement from this side. But if you see that the way developments are taking place in Bihar, it is something which was nobody had expected. Initially, people thought that it was just a pressure tactics from Nitish Kumar just to put a pressure on the BJP to actually make BJP agree on his demands. But now it seems that things have really gone beyond a point and there is no way back for Nitish Kumar. Right. But on the other hand, we are seeing that BJP has given clear instructions to its leaders that they should not speak on this matter, and therefore we are seeing people who are speaking, they are also refraining to make any hard statement, and still they are maintaining that Nitish Kumar can still be the chief minister of NDA. So on their part, they don't want to look like somebody who wanted to break away from this alliance. So they have maintained their distance. They are keeping the things that they are still in the government. Their ministers are not speaking much at this moment. But on the other hand, Nitish Kumar perhaps has decided that it's game over for him in NDA, and he is finding new options. So right. In fact, the Congress and RJD are also seeing this opportunity, because still you have 3 years of the government there left in Bihar. So but they still have time before you go into election right. again.
When we talk about the RJD and the JDU as an alliance, I'd also like to, I'm sorry I'm running short of time, but there are so many points to touch upon that I'd like you also to quickly touch upon the caste dynamics, how they come into play when we look at the politics in Bihar. And as far as the JDU and RJD are concerned, how they could just prove to be a power-packed alliance, because, one has the support of the Yadavs, who also have a very crucial role to play in the state. At the same time, you have the JDU, which has the support of the much-needed Dalit, the Kurmis and the OBC vote.
Well, that's right. And, the caste combination is very important in Bihar politics. And therefore, we had seen, in 2020 elections where RJD had won, 80 seats. Remember, Muslim votes have around 16 to 17% of percentage there in Bihar, and then you have Kurmi, Dalit, OBC. So there's a huge chunk of OBC voters there, and that was perhaps the reason why Nitish Kumar was focusing on that caste-based census in the state, for which we had seen all the political parties of Bihar had come to Delhi to meet Prime Minister to have that caste census, because somehow Nitish Kumar had realized it earlier that if that caste census happened in Bihar, they will get the better idea. But roughly what we get to know is that OBC has a huge chunk, somewhere around 45 to 50% in Bihar, which is going to be a huge vote bank for any of the political parties. So if these two parties are coming together, JDU, RJD, and of course the Congress party, at this moment it seems that there is going to be an easy way for them to right. rule Bihar for 3 years. But how people of Bihar are going to see this, because in 2015, remember, Mahagathbandhan was formed. Then in 2017, Nitish Kumar left Mahagathbandhan, came in the fold of NDA. Now again in 2022, he is moving away from NDA. So what is the message he is sending out? That's something which we do not know at this moment. People will have to see that, because before the Bihar Assembly elections, you have 2024 Lok Sabha elections. So for that, you also need to send a right message. So at this moment, it seems that Nitish Kumar was finding it very difficult in the BJP, and therefore he did not have any other option except to go for an alliance with the RJD and Congress.
Right. Stay with us, Arun, because I'll quickly go across to Siddhant, who's also with us. Siddhant, I'd like to ask you, what has reduced the negotiating power as far as the RJD is concerned, because we all know that they are far ahead as far as the numbers are concerned. What is actually controlling them from negotiating for the chief ministerial position? Is it the land for jobs scam, the arrest of Bhola Yadav, who we all know was the officer on special duty when Lalu Yadav was the railway minister? All right, I'll come to you on that question, but right now we have the breaking input coming in that Bihar's additional police forces are being sent to the Raj Bhavan, as this is the big breaking we are bringing to you on Bihar Story right now. The police forces are now being mobilized. They're being sent to the Raj Bhavan, as we all know that at 2 p.m. is the crucial march of Nitish Kumar, when he will be moving forward towards the Raj Bhavan, and at 4 o'clock he will be meeting the governor. As far as that meeting is concerned, we all know that the letter of support will be presented by Tejaswi Yadav in just a while from now, after lunch is over. And he will be handing that letter of support over to Nitish Kumar. We know that Nitish Kumar has undying support from his party, as his party, the JDU sources have already revealed that whether it's the MLAs, the MPs or the MLCs, they have all offered their unwavering support towards Nitish Kumar. And at 4 o'clock will be that crucial meeting between Nitish Kumar and the governor of Bihar. Who accompanies them? Will he be accompanied along with Tejaswi Yadav during that crucial meeting with the governor is something we'll have to see. And will there be a fresh change of government? Will there be a fresh swearing-in ceremony? What happens from here on? Well, the game has just begun. As we told you, one thing we know for sure is that the alliance between the BJP and the JDU is over. Let me quickly go across to Saurav. Saurav, if you could give us a sense of what's happening on ground zero, because we've just learned that additional police forces are currently being sent to the Raj Bhavan. I'm sure you can expect Nitish Kumar at the Raj Bhavan in some time from now.
Yes, it's just a matter of 1 or 2 hours that the Bihar is going to see a new change. Again, what we had reported. Now we are at Raj Bhavan, which is just 20 meters away from CM's house, and we are seeing that the security has been beefed up. CM, the city SP is here, CM is here, and more than 100 police officers, other security forces have been called up, and the security is beefed up. We are at the gate of the governor's house, Raj Bhavan, and here we can see the police. They have brought the rope to control the crowd, which we are expecting that the RJD and other the Mahagathbandhan parties, they are going to join Nitish Kumar at 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock, after they finishes their lunch, and then they are going to come from Rabri residence. They are going to march from there, and they'll join Nitish Kumar and other leaders at CM's house, and then they will together march to the Raj Bhavan here, and they will offer, they will tender, the letter of support that the Mahagathbandhan is going to give to CM Nitish. And we are learning that CM Nitish is going to resign first, and then he is going to give the letter of support to the governor Fagu Chauhan, and a floor test will be conducted later. So these are all the information that we are getting from the sources inside the CM house, where this meeting is still on. And we are also learning that the Tejaswi Yadav had given a brief speech during the lunchtime to its the leaders over there present from Congress, left, and
right.
RJD as well. He said that he wanted to thank everybody to trust him, and he is going to fulfill the promises that he made in 2020. Now the security arrangements have been made over here. We can see the water cannon is also present over here. Police officials and police security forces are at the CM's in front of the CM's house, and also at because it's a very it's in the range of 20 meters that CM house and Raj Bhavan is here, so we can see the security forces all over the places.
All
and
right.
Special security have been called up who are
So this is an interesting piece of information that Saurav you've brought us, that the JDU will be accompanied rather by the RJD. So we should expect Tejaswi Yadav to accompany Nitish Kumar during that meeting with the governor. That is Also, some big breaking information that's coming our way. Having said that, Saurabh, all right, let me quickly go back to Siddhant. Siddhant, this is one question that needs to be discussed and awaits our attention. The fact is, what is impacting the negotiating power of the RJD? Because we know that numbers are clearly in their favor. That should not stop Tejashwi Yadav from demanding the chief ministerial position. Having said that, has the land for jobs scam sort of overshadowed the RJD's ambitions when it comes to power sharing today?
Well, look, land for jobs scam investigation is currently underway. CBI is doing the investigation. Bhola Yadav, one of the OSDs of Lalu Yadav, has been placed under the arrest. Now, as far as the negotiation with Nitish Kumar is concerned,
the reason is that it's only Nitish Kumar who is a neutral political figure in Bihar. He can go with BJP also. He can go with Mahagathbandhan also. So in this capacity, he has more powers to negotiate than both of the other two parties. Also, RJD realizes this, that they have been out of power for quite a long time. They were desperate to come in power, and this there could be no other perfect way to come to power than this particular situation where Nitish Kumar is walking out of NDA and joining hands with them. There were too many differences between the two parties. In fact, there were heated arguments also. Both the leaders have been taking pot shots at each other time and again. Tejasvi always calls Nitish Kumar as Paltu Chacha. And in fact, Nitish Kumar also makes similar remarks for Tejasvi Yadav. But today, these two parties have realized that this is a time to come together and form a government in Bihar, and also to give a strong opposition to Bharatiya Janata Party. And this is one of the reasons that these two parties are coming together. Also, Nitish Kumar was unhappy with the way BJP is functioning. He was not happy the way Deputy Chief Minister was operating. He was not happy the way RCP Singh was being welcomed by BJP senior leadership in Delhi. He was also not unhappy. He was also not happy with the speaker, BJP's speaker in the House. So those were some serious issues. And that matters to Nitish Kumar, and this is perhaps the reason that this decision has been taken. Obviously, well thought of, well planned decision to come out of the alliance. And before that, Nitish Kumar may have spoken to Tejasvi Yadav, and both have agreed to a similar terms. And now the alliance is broken, and we have been told that Nitish Kumar will do march to Raj Bhavan along with Tejasvi Yadav, and there is also a possibility that he will resign today, and then he will start the new government by taking oath again. Back to you.
Siddhant Mishra, Maria Shakil, Saurav continue to get us all the breaking developments from the ground. The Bihar pot boiler. What next in the power formation, the government formation in the state of Bihar remains our top focus here on CNN News 18. Not just getting you the political chatter, but the actual substantial details from the ground. Everything which is happening. BJP in a huddle, JDU, Congress, RJD set to get together along with the left parties. What is next in the Bihar pot boiler? Some points for you. Now, Nitish Kumar is all set to meet the governor and hand over resignation. That's the formality he'll have to finish. Secondly, what we are likely to see is Nitish once again will stake a claim as the next chief minister with the backing of the RJD, which is the single largest party in the state. Letters of support to be handed over to the governor. As my colleagues have been reporting, there's one single letter of support that has been drafted with the signatories from all the MLAs from the RJD, JDU, Left, Congress, everybody together. Nitish to be sworn in after the Mahagathbandhan works out a formula. Nitish Kumar is likely to be the chief ministerial phase, but the home ministry, the essential key portfolios, how they are going to be distributed, all of that yet to be decided. Majority to be proven on the floor of the House. Of course, Constitutional Convention demands the role of the Speaker is going to be very important here, along with the Governor. As my colleague Maria Shakil also reported some time ago, that the kind of spats that we saw more importantly with the speaker earlier, who's a BJP leader, with Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, was one of the tipping points, was one of the focal points where it all started in a certain way and it escalated to a completely different level. As I said, my colleagues continue to track the story. Saurabh continues to be with us from the governor's house. Siddhant is also tracking this story live from Rabri Devi's residence in Patna, and Maria Shakil will also join us in just a bit. Saurabh, coming to you and taking in the details from you, what time are we expecting Nitish Kumar and the alliance partners to meet the governor today? What's happening there?
See, earlier it was speculated that the CM will meet governor at 12 p.m. Only after the meeting gets over. But because long time meeting started at 11 and it's been 3 hours. So the meeting is still on. That's what we are learning. But here we can see the police officers and all the security forces are they are built up in front of the CM house, because CM house is just 20 meters away from the house. So we can report from both the places. We can see the security being built up, and the rope is being used to control the journalists, because it's a very crowded place here and many supporters are also gathering up. And we are learning that ASP Patna City has come here, the sub-division magistrate is here, and they all have been guiding the place, because once the march comes from Tejasvi Yadav's residence, Ravi Yadav's residence, that will be a huge number, because the supporters will also be with them. And we are learning that Tejasvi Yadav is going to hand over their letter of support of Mahagathbandhan to Nitish first, and then they both will march towards the governor house, which is just 20 meters away from here.
Okay.
So, yes, and so we can see here that the security has been beefed up, and it's just a matter of time. At around 4 p.m., what we are learning,
yes,
that the governor has given the appointment to CM Nitish to meet and do the rest business.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
And Saurabh, what kind of security? I mean, we are also hearing that additional deployments have been made on the ground, and especially when there is so much political huddle which is in the state, and a certain degree of transition of power is always a volatile time. What kind of security arrangements have been made to ensure that law and order, VVIP movements, everything is secured?
Yes, here we can see in all the corners, because if Siddhant must have reported from Ravi Yadav's residence, there also their security forces have been sent, and here at CM House and Governor House, both are next to each other. So we can see on all the corners of intersection, the police officers have been deployed. Even we can see there the forces are still coming, and they have been reserved for any mishap, because it's
yes,
about
yes,
RJD and JDU, and it's a big day for Bihar, and
indeed,
we will expect a huge crowd over here of supporters coming along with RJD and JDU in a short while.
Right now on the screen, these are some VVIP movements which are happening. My colleague Siddhant has been tracking all the details from the ground. We'll try and cut across to Siddhant and understand what exactly is happening. Siddhant, tell us, what are you picking up? Okay, we'll try and connect with Siddhant and get more details. He's on the ground.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Go ahead.
Hello.
I can hear you fine.
So
Go ahead.
there's this convoy which has come. There's this convoy which has come out of one NMR residence of Chief Minister, but this convoy was completely empty, and the EV vehicle which Nitish Kumar uses has gone on this road. So Nitish Kumar usually uses one EV MUV that he uses. So that particular vehicle was also part of the convoy, but Nitish Kumar was not inside the convoy. But what I can sense here on ground is that the security has been beefed up completely. Police is on standby mode, and in fact the Karyakartas have started gathering right here outside the residence of Rabri Devi. And one piece of information that we are getting is that the left parties are going to support the government from outside. They are not going to be the part of the government. This is what the sources inside the RJD and Congress camp have been telling us, that the left parties are not going to be the part of the government. So only RJD is going to join the government. But again, it's been more than 2 hours, but there is no official announcement, no official confirmation that has come from any of the parties. The meeting at Rabri Devi's residence is still going on. Nitish Kumar is inside Ek Ane Marg. His convoy has just left, but that was an empty convoy. Now he's expected to march towards Raj Bhavan. In that case, he's going to meet the governor at around 4 p.m. This is what we have been told. This is the time that governor has given him to meet. So once that meeting will take place, we'll be in a better situation to explain it to our viewers what is happening. Till then, we all have to wait for an official confirmation. But one thing is sure, that RJD is going to join the government and the left parties are going to stay out and support the government from outside.
Siddhant, I'm coming back to you, and I want you to reiterate once again for our viewers, Mahagathbandhan 2.0. How would it really look like? As you said, that there are strong indications that the left parties may not support it, may give it outside support. RJD, of course, will be a part. Congress would be a part. But in the changed political realities of Bihar, with RJD emerging big in numbers and JDU being decimated to a great extent compared to their performances earlier, what the new Mahagathbandhan really may look like. And these are visuals of the additional security deployment that has happened in the high-profile area of Patna. These streets of Patna are going to witness important political transition of power in the state of Bihar. Nitish Kumar, who was once with RJD and Congress, broke that alliance, came back with the BJP, fought election once again along with the BJP. Despite limited numbers, once again was made the chief minister. BJP said he's going to be the chief minister face. Now is switching camps and once again is shifting his allegiance or his alliance towards RJD plus Congress. Coming back to you, Siddhant, Mahagathbandhan 2.0, how would it really look like?
Yes, Mahagathbandhan 2.0 is going to be on the similar format of 2015, but this time around there's a possibility of Tejasvi Yadav getting home ministry. So the similar format is going to be applied, which was applied in Maharashtra when Maha Vikas Aghadi formed the government. The CM is going to be Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, and the DCM and the Home Ministry is going to be with Tejasvi Yadav. The other important portfolios will also be shared with RJD, and the speaker is going to be from the Congress party. This is what sources are telling us. The left parties are going to support the government from outside, and this is the basic plan that has been finalized by all the political parties. Now behind me you can see the SUVs are coming in, the Netas, MLA, MLCs, they all are coming here. The entire stretch of circular road is jam-packed with Karyakartas and the supporters of these three parties. They all have gathered here, and in fact the challenge is also for the Patna police to handle traffic today, because there's going to be traffic congestion on the streets of Patna when Nitish Kumar
Siddhant, as you continue to get us more details, there is some more developments which are coming in. These are sources indicating to us how the Mahagathbandhan 2.0 is really going to look like. Tejasvi Yadav is all set to get the portfolio, the home ministry. For the sources further indicate that Nitish Kumar will continue to be the chief minister till 2024, till the remaining term of the government, and he wants to try his hand at national politics before 2024. A lot of regional satraps have been wanting to stake a claim to the national leadership, including the likes of Mamata Banerjee, and why should Nitish Babu stay behind? That's the thinking. Sources further indicate that there is an understanding that has been reached that before 2025, a power transition will happen, and we are likely to see that perhaps a younger face like Tejasvi Yadav. Maria Shakil is with us on the broadcast. Maria, perhaps before 2025, Tejasvi Yadav would want that transition of power to happen. Tell us about what's brewing.
Yes, so Anusha, the big question that we have been asking so far is that why should Tejasvi Yadav agree to play second fiddle to Nitish Kumar? In fact, there is some movement that is happening, and that is the reason perhaps we can see media gather there. We'll try and get details as to whose Innova actually it is that is entering the governor's residence. But having said that, the question that we have been asking so far is why should a leader like Tejasvi, who has emerged as a leader in his own right, actually agree to play second fiddle to Nitish Kumar? Someone who is actually leading highest bloc, which is the RJD being the single largest party. What sources in the RJD are telling us is that there has been a larger understanding in terms of long-term planning. A long-term understanding has been reached between the RJD and the JDU, looking at perhaps the next 3 to 4 years. So what the indication is, as per the sources, that Nitish Kumar would want to try his hand at the national politics. So the indication is that perhaps in 2024 he would want to be projected as the challenger to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. How many parties will agree to do so? That is something we aren't really sure of. But the indication from the RJD is certainly that is coming at this moment is that the reason why Tejasvi Yadav has agreed, or Lalu Yadav has agreed, that his son will be the Deputy Chief Minister or play the second fiddle to Nitish Kumar is because in long term Nitish Kumar has agreed to hand over the power or the reins of Bihar to him, and going ahead in 2025 it will be fought in the leadership of Tejasvi Yadav. But again, as we have been saying, Nitish Kumar is the only politician in Indian politics who is known for his U-turns. Whether this alliance that is taking shape, will it continue for the next 2 years? That is also uncertain. We have seen how Nitish Kumar has walked out of one alliance, forged another alliance. So, you know, Nitish Kumar and his politics is something that he cannot really justify. So ideological commitments not there completely. It's a politics of opportunism and politics of convenience that has been defining Nitish Kumar's politics all these years.
Politics of opportunism and perhaps politics to stay in power and for a political future. Some more breaking developments coming in. And sources further indicate to us about the meeting that happened within the JDU, and BJP conspired against JDU. That's what the feeling is within the camp of Nitish Kumar. They were never given the due respect. That's what JDU and Nitish Kumar feel. BJP further tried to create rift in JDU, and the party tried its level best that they should continue with the alliance. That's what the feeling really is. Maria, tell us more about this.
Yes, again I'm saying I am not convinced when Nitish Kumar's party is talking about a larger conspiracy. This was an alliance government, Anusha. An alliance partner such as the BJP, which had, despite of having almost double the number of Nitish Kumar's JDU, had agreed to give him the Chief Minister's chair. Yes, they have the speaker in the current Bihar Assembly. Yes, they may have ministers in the cabinet, but they agreed to give the big chair and make Nitish Kumar the face of the alliance. If Nitish Kumar indeed had the differences, couldn't he have really sorted it out? What is making Nitish Kumar, switch sides? This is turning of the tables or completely moving on the other side. So there is more to it than meets the eye. What the sources in the JDU have been telling us, Anusha, and it has been happening for the last 2 months, that Nitish Kumar has been very uncomfortable in this alliance. What was making him so uncomfortable was multiple reasons. One of the reasons cited was that his governance model had been questioned. The current Bihar Assembly speaker, who is from the BJP, was repeatedly questioning him and taking on the Chief Minister, which Nitish Kumar said was unconstitutional. Then the manner in which RCP joined cabinet when the expansion happened in 2021. So all these, issues almost precipitated the crisis. So multiple movement that we can see now that has begun. So perhaps in the next 45 minutes to an hour, it's already 2:15, that we'll see the final movement, because there has been no official announcement that has happened from either sides. All this is coming from via sources from inside both the meetings. So we'll have to wait and see as to what justification is the JDU giving in this breaking of alliance. So far as the BJP is concerned, remember, they have been very, very careful. They are saying, even now, when you heard from the one of the BJP spokespersons, who also happens to be a minister, he says that we are waiting and watching. It is for Nitish Kumar to walk out of this alliance. We will not be carrying the burden of being said that we betrayed Nitish Kumar. If anything, it will be seen as Nitish Kumar betraying the BJP. But again, as we have been saying, how comfortable will Nitish Kumar be in that alliance, when he was uncomfortable in this alliance of the BJP. So a lot of uncomfortable questions around Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav as they head together to form this government.
Maria, as you give us that succinct, exhaustive analysis of what to expect, the U-turns by Nitish Kumar, and the key question, will this government last for the remaining of the term, and the angle of conspiracy, how plausible or palatable really it is. Give us a word also about the national ambitions of Nitish Kumar. Is he seriously thinking about it? What is it you're picking up?
Yes, so Anusha, I would say Nitish Kumar gave up his national ambitions in 2014 itself, when he realized that when the JDU contested on its own without the alliance partner BJP, he was reduced to just 2 MPs. So he understood that the political power or the capital that he enjoyed was also because of the BJP. BJP's strong social base ensured that Nitish Kumar, could implement a lot of governance model. He came up with a governance model that Bihar talked about. He was seen as someone who almost was able to turn the jungle Raj, which tamed that Lalu Yadav, Rabdi Devi regime had. So a lot of questions were raised around that time. I think he gave up on his prime ministerial ambitions in 2014. But in 2015, when he won the state of Bihar along with Lalu Yadav, there was that revival of the ambition. But again in 2017, he walked out of alliance with Mahagathbandhan and joined the BJP. So I think when we look at the national ambition, this could be very well emergence of Nitish Kumar 3.0, I would say, not even 2.0, because Nitish Kumar 2.0 was when he formed that alliance with Mahagathbandhan. As he returns to Mahagathbandhan, one thing is very clear, that the BJP will be shutting its door to Nitish Kumar completely. So far, the BJP has not made its move. Let's be clear, they are watching on the sidelines. They have chosen to wait and watch. For the party with the kind of numbers that they have in the state, can they just wait on the sidelines for various political parties to come together and make another kind of khichdi sarkar? That may not happen. So the move that will be made by the governor, the move that will be made by the assembly speaker will be waited and will be watching out for. Because Nitish Kumar, if he were to resign, then the ball shifts into the governor's court. And that's where the role of the governor becomes very important. So will he be resigning, or how will the transition happen from the BJP alliance to the RJD alliance is something that we'll have to wait and see, because that there is a lot of technicalities that are involved in this. But having said that, Bihar is witnessing another churn. And this is emergence of Nitish Kumar 3.0.
Emergence.
A further diminished Nitish Kumar, but also someone who is taking playing the final card in his political career. Because here onwards, given the age that he is on, which is 70 plus, what next for Nitish Kumar is something that we'll be finding it very difficult to explain. Because what will be politics of Nitish Kumar? What has he believed in so far? It has been a politics checkered with U-turns. He is the only politician of India, as I've been saying repeatedly, who has almost made it about conscience on call. He keeps on talking about how it is the call from one side to another. This is almost like Nitish Kumar making another U-turn without giving an explanation as to why he's making that U-turn.
Maria Shakil, with that fascinating analysis about Nitish Kumar, how this is perhaps the last of the cards that he's playing, perhaps in his political career, considering his age. And this is Nitish Kumar 3.0. Siddhant, coming back to you, you had some interesting anecdotes to share about Nitish Kumar and how he's defined in the street politics of Bihar, politics which is so substantial and fundamental to an average Bihari. And it is said that an average Bihari understands politics better than anybody else. Nitish Kumar 3.0. How would he really look like? Your analysis.
Well, yes, that's right. So as Maria has also been saying that, he has become a master of multiple U-turns. Before him, if any other leader has taken so many U-turns, then that leader was late Ramvilas Paswan. सरकार किसी की भी होती थी, पासवान जी मंत्री बनते थे. उसी प्रकार से बिहार में इस वक्त सरकार कोई भी रहे, किसी के भी समर्थन से रहे, नीतीश बाबू चीफ मिनिस्टर बनेंगे. But this time around, what we are getting to know is, as Maria was highlighting, keeping in mind his age, this could be his last innings. This is going to be his last ditch. Now the plan is Tejasvi will join the government. Tejasvi will be the second senior most face of this government. Nitish Kumar will be the chief minister, but he will be focusing more on the national politics. When I say national politics, then he will be eyeing on 2024 parliamentary elections, and he is one face who can unite the other opposition parties. He is one face. On his face, the opposition, the consensus can be built, and he can drive the Mahagathbandhan, this entire coalition of the opposition parties across the country. So that is the idea, that is the plan, and this is perhaps the reason that Nitish Babu is playing this political game again, and taking a U-turn and joining hands with Tejasvi Yadav. Also, the point of contention that we've been given to understand is the portfolio of home. Now, Maria has reported that the portfolio is going to Tejasvi Yadav, but there was enough discussion that happened because initially Nitish Kumar was not ready to give the portfolio of home, because usually in the states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, CM keeps this portfolio with them. But if giving out this portfolio to Tejasvi Yadav, then definitely Nitish Kumar is making Tejasvi Yadav the second senior leader in the government, and also giving him power in the government by giving him the home portfolio. So this is again a gesture that Nitish Kumar has shown for Tejasvi Yadav, and also since he will be focusing more on the center politics, then he will be more active in Delhi circles, and he'll be speaking to the other opposition parties how to bring them on board. But again, there is no official announcement yet. We have also been told that BJP is likely to rush two senior most leaders from Delhi to Patna to hold meetings with the party cadre, with the MLAs and MPs of Bihar, and to make a strategy for future. Back to you.
Siddhant Mishra and Maria Shakil continue to get us all the details. Mahagathbandhan 2.0 and Nitish Kumar 3.0. How would they really look like? What are the power dynamics taking shape in this Bihar potboiler? All the details up here on CNN News 18. Slipping into a very short break.
Why are you skirting my straightforward question, Dr. Sunil Singh? You are saying the unwritten law is because they are Muslim majority students, they want holiday on Friday. So I am asking you, in schools where majority of the students are Christian, will you decide that they can take their holiday on Sunday?
Can the world afford another one? And this time, even if it's going to be between China and Taiwan, what lessons has the world drawn, if any, from the war between Russia and Ukraine in a way that we can prevent another one?
What is being promised here is irrational freebies which influences voters, completely vitiates the entire process.
It is a good example for the rest of the world that the fight against terror must continue. River in Khargon, but the water levels rose suddenly after rains. The picnickers rushed to higher ground to save themselves and left their cars behind. At least 14 cars were swept away in the surging river waters. Police rushed to the spot and pulled out 10 with the help of tractors from local villagers. But the cars failed to start because water had entered the engines. So the picnickers were sent to their homes in other cars. Local police have been asked to put up a board in the area informing people about the danger of water levels rising suddenly.
Malaysia is procuring 18 Tejas fighter jets, while the United States, Australia, Argentina and Indonesia have all shown interest. So why exactly is the Tejas so much in demand? It is fully capable of carrying 8 to 9 tons of payload. It can fly with as many weapons as the Sukhoi series of fighter jets. Despite being light, its speed is unmatched. It can also refuel mid-air and be ready for war again. It has the ability to dodge enemy radar as well. It was raining gold medals for India on the final day of the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham today.
Two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu won her maiden gold at the CWG. Sindhu has now completed the set, having won bronze in 2014, silver in 2018 and now gold in Birmingham.
Yeah, I waited for this for a long time now and finally I've done it. So super happy.
Then came the turn of 20-year-old Lakshya Sen, who made the comeback of a lifetime and clinched a gold medal in badminton men's singles.
मतलब मैंने यही सोचा कि I'll take one match at a time and not to put too much pressure on myself. And yeah, definitely I'm very happy now.
India's star doubles pair of Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankareddy won the country's third gold from the badminton court.
We prepared for it in the team event as well and we wanted a gold no matter what.
And table tennis star Achanta Sharad Kamal proved that age is just a number. The 40-year-old capped his best ever performance at the Commonwealth Games by winning the men's singles gold.
India's men's hockey team settled for silver after they lost 7-0 to defending champions Australia. While India came into the final on the back of some fine performances in the group stage, the Australian side pushed the Indian defenders from the word go today. So here's how India have stacked up at the podium at the end of the Commonwealth Games. India are currently at 4th position on the podium of Commonwealth 2022, an overall medal tally of over 60, 22 gold medals, 16 silver medals and 23 bronze medals in one of the best performances in the CWG Games that India has had. One person was killed after a cloudburst led to flooding in Himachal Pradesh's Chamba district.
The cloudburst triggered flash floods, muddy water gushing down the hilly region. 2 villages were affected by the cloudburst and several homes were washed away, due to which one person was killed. Agricultural land was also damaged due to the flash floods. Heavy rains triggered landslides in Kinnaur and Himachal Pradesh. National Highway 5 was completely blocked after loose stones and debris fell on it. The highway has been closed for vehicular movement and machinery has been brought in to clear the road so that traffic can be restored.
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar will be meeting all his JDU MLAs tomorrow and is likely to take a call on the future of his alliance with the BJP. The JDU has accused the BJP of working against Nitish Kumar in the 2020 elections and of disrespecting allies. Rajya Sabha MP and senior advocate Kapil Sibal says there is no hope left in the Supreme Court. He was expressing his displeasure over some of the recent judgments passed by the apex court. He criticized the Supreme Court for dismissing the plea filed by Zakia Jafri, challenging the clean chit given to PM Modi in the 2002 Gujarat riots case. In Tamil Nadu's Tanjavur district, VVIP mindset, and that too brazenly on camera, was in full display.
An ambulance was stopped in order to let the convoy of the State Education Minister pass. The siren-blaring ambulance stopped on the road while the cavalcade of the minister passed by. There were around 20 to 25 cars in the minister's convoy. They were going to review flood prevention work. The ambulance had to wait till the entire convoy went by. A police officer was also seen standing near the ambulance and saluting as the cars passed by. Opposition parties in Tamil Nadu have demanded action against the minister for this VVIP arrogance.
40 days after the BJP and Shiv Sena formed a new government in Maharashtra under Eknath Shinde, the cabinet is likely to be expanded Tuesday. So far, the Maharashtra cabinet has been functioning with just 2 members. That's Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. Key portfolios like home, finance and revenue are likely to go to the BJP. China is keeping up the military pressure on Taiwan after US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit last week, with China continuing military drills very close to the median line.
China is extending military exercises surrounding Taiwan. The People's Liberation Army's Eastern Theater Command said it was focused on holding joint anti-submarine and sea assault operations in an unspecified location. Taiwan has detected nearly 13 Chinese warships and nearly 40 sorties near the island. The PLA also conducted live-fire air-to-air missile drills. China's largest ever military exercises, are a response to US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan last week. The exercises have disrupted shipping and air traffic and substantially raised concerns about a potential conflict in the region.
More than a dozen cars were washed away in floods in Madhya Pradesh's Khargone district.
People were enjoying a picnic at a forest near a river in Khargone, but the water levels rose suddenly after rains. The picnickers rushed to higher ground to save themselves and left their cars behind. At least 14 cars were swept away in the surging river waters. Police rushed to the spot and pulled
Welcome back, and we continue to track all the details and developments coming in from the pot boiler of Bihar. These are fast-paced developments, but one thing is for sure, that the BJP-JDU alliance is over. Mahagathbandhan 2.0, how the numbers really stack up. Look here. The RJD is the single largest party in the state after the BJP, and these two combined were the halfway mark, very comfortably going there. Now, after JDU has walked out of the NDA alliance, they are going to join hands with the RJD. JDU plus RJD is a comfortable margin, much beyond 122, but with the Congress support, outside support of the left parties and the independent, they are likely to have a very comfortable position of staying in the government. Nitish Kumar will continue to stay as the face. Now, look at the scenario. You have the RJD, JDU. These two coming together, as I said earlier. They are well past 122. Congress is 19. The left party is 12. BJP is 77 and others are 11. So, BJP ideologically cannot tie hands, say with the Congress or an RJD. That doesn't really work for them. They are very carefully watching this entire situation, and how the optics of all of this is really going to play out will be very, very important strategically for the Bharatiya Janata Party. While these numbers are there and they of course define what will happen in Bihar's politics, there's some more breaking developments coming in. Let's go to that. And it's a big scoop that we continue to get for you on the BJP strategy in the state of Bihar, as we've been reporting that they're watching very, very keenly as to what happens. Now, Patna MP Ravi Shankar Prasad and Sushil Modi are landing in Patna at around 4 p.m. These are two tall leaders of the BJP. BJP core committee meeting will be held. You'll have senior leaders of the Bihar unit, including Radha Mohan Singh, who will be present here. BJP, of course, would want to ensure how optically it plays out, how it can continue to have an upper hand in the political morality of it. Siddhant is with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, when JDU, and it has already walked out of the NDA, the optics of how this alliance is breaking is going to be very, very critical for a party like BJP, and they would want to make sure that the political messaging is correct.
Well, that's right. Actually, BJP is a party which sincerely believes in political messaging. In fact, what happened in Maharashtra posed that an adequate, proper political messaging was done by BJP. Maratha was made the CM, Nautowala was made the CM, and that's how they convinced the vote bank in Maharashtra. This time around, we're being told that Ravi Shankar Prasad and Sushil Modi, they both have been given this task to go and hold core committee meeting in Patna. Also, Sushil Modi is someone who is considered as somebody in BJP close to Nitish Kumar. So in these times of crisis where Nitish Kumar is unhappy with BJP, where alliance is has almost come to an end, only official announcement is left. Ravi Shankar Prasad and Sushil Modi, they both have been rushed to Patna by BJP central leadership. We have also been told that along with them Radha Mohan Singh is also going to accompany them, and all these leaders are going to hold crucial core committee meeting at around 5:30 in Patna. And post that only we will get to know the future strategy of BJP. So since morning, in fact, we had our colleagues at Deputy CM's residences and the other senior leaders of Bihar BJP, but nobody reacted to this developing story. Now the center has rushed these three leaders to Patna to take stock of the situation and to hold core committee meet with the other state unit members. Back to you.
All right. My colleague Saurabh is also tracking all the details from the governor's house at the Raj Bhavan. Saurabh, what time are we expecting that crucial meeting to happen? That meeting will decide everything and will put a stamp of certainty over everything which has been so far political speculation, because no party is on record.
Sorry, I couldn't hear the question. Please.
Sure. Saurabh, could you tell us about what's happening at Raj Bhavan? When is that critical meeting slated to happen? What kind of political optics are we likely to witness?
Yes, we are here at Raj Bhavan. This is gate number 3 of the Governor House, and here we can see the security forces are already deployed. Now, many supporters of BJP and JDU have started coming in this area. And this is the area where you can see the Governor House, and adjacent to it is CM House, just 20 meters away from here. And the supporters, earlier only the media persons were there, but now we can see within half an hour, more than 100 supporters have started reaching this place, and because of that the security has been beefed up in this area. More than 100 police officials have reached. We can see the water cannon is also there to avoid any mishap here. Already the city SP and SDM are present here at this spot, and we are expecting at 4 p.m. CM Nitish along with the Mahagathbandhan leaders, the MLAs who are present at Tejasvi House residence there, in Rabri House residence there, just 50 meters away. It is we are getting the information.
All
that
right, sorry, cutting across to some developments.
मेरा एक कार्यक्रम दिल्ली में था, वो मैंने इन्वेस्टर भवन जो भवन है उसका उद्घाटन कर दिया है. अब मैं बिहार जा रहा हूँ. पार्टी नेतृत्व की तरफ से ही इस पे बयान आएगा. अभी मुझे इस पर कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करनी.
सर लेकिन आप देख रहे हैं कि आप लोगों ने उनकी पार्टी को कमजोर किया.
हम सिर्फ अपनी पार्टी को मजबूत करते हैं, हम किसी को कमजोर नहीं करते.
लेकिन आरोप तो लग रहा सर आपके ऊपर, जेडीयू को 2020 से बीजेपी कमजोर कर रही है. बार वो ये बोल रहे हैं.
देखिए कौन क्या कह रहा है मैंने सुना नहीं है. मैं पटना जा रहा हूँ. पार्टी का जो नेतृत्व है वही ऑफिशियल बयान इस पे देगा, क्योंकि मैं इन्वेस्टर जो समीर यहाँ पर एक भवन का उद्घाटन जो पहले से तय था, उसी निमित्त बिहार पटना से दिल्ली आया था. फिर से अपनी जन्मभूमि बिहार जा रहा हूँ. हमने ईमानदारी से बिहार की 14 करोड़ आवाम की और नौजवानों के उद्योग और रोजगार की चिंता की है. और पूरे जब से मैं कोरोना काल में ही मंत्री बना, लेकिन मैंने जिस 1 मिनट भी चैन से बैठा नहीं. मैंने मेहनत की है और आज भी इन्वेस्टर भवन का यहाँ उद्घाटन था. इस निमित्त आया था. जो पार्टी की तरफ से ऑफिशियल सारी घटना पे नज़र है, जब कोई टिप्पणी होगी तो वो पार्टी की तरफ से होगी. अभी मैं कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना
चाहता. सर आप बिहार सरकार की गाड़ी में जरूर बैठ रहे हैं, लेकिन आगे क्या सर, वहाँ उतरेंगे तो यही गाड़ी रहेगी सर. सर यही गाड़ी रहेगी सर.
अभी हमें कुछ नहीं.
जेडीयू के आरोपों पर क्या कहेंगे आप?
अभी मुझे कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करनी. पार्टी की तरफ से बयान आए
सर, लेकिन आरोप तो आपके ऊपर लग रहा है. बिल्कुल, तो यहाँ पर आप देख रहे हैं कि दिल्ली से पटना के लिए.
That was Shahnawaz Hussain, the BJP leader. Let's once again reiterate for our viewers what is likely to happen. Nitish Kumar is all set to meet the governor at around 4 p.m. He is likely to be accompanied by Tejasvi Yadav and other key leaders of the Mahagathbandhan. Nitish Kumar will be the next chief minister. That's what indications are. There is no official statement, but trusted sources within the political parties are telling us this. What next for the BJP, which is watching and observing the situation very, very closely? Of course, the majority, as the visuals are telling you and our graphics are telling you, will be proven on the floor of the House. A lot of technicalities. The governor and the speaker are two constitutional authorities that play a very, very important role whenever there's a swift and transition of power. All said and done, even if there is a speaker from the BJP, he is bound by the constitutional norms. And if BJP is outside power and you have the JDU plus the RJD plus the other alliance partners like the Congress with the left parties giving support from the outside, the numbers are stacked up in their favor. As I said, the BJP is watching the situation very, very closely. The top leaders, including the likes of Ravi Shankar Prasad, are going to land in Patna very, very soon. My colleague Saurav is with us on the broadcast live from the Governor's house. Saurav, tell us about what are you picking up from, from your sources within the BJP? What kind of meetings are going to be held? How keenly and closely they are watching the situation? Are they likely to issue any statement?
Yes, before that, I would like to give a note to this tweet that Upendra Kushwaha, who is the JDU's parliamentary committee chairman, and he has tweeted in Hindi, it is नए स्वरूप में नए गठबंधन के नेतृत्व की जवाबदेही के लिए श्री नीतीश कुमार जी को बधाई. नीतीश जी आगे बढ़िए, देश आपका इंतजार कर रहा है. That means congratulations to Shri Nitish Kumar ji for the accountability of leadership of the new coalition in the new form. Nitish ji, go ahead, the country is waiting for you. So this is the first statement, although it is via tweet, that after the meeting it has come out from JDU parliamentary chairman, an official statement coming out, and this can be taken as in two views. You see, one, that he has confirmed that the alliance is no more, because he has given he has congratulated everyone in that, and second is he is hinting towards Nitish's leadership at the center.
Yes.
See, he has seen he has written clearly that Nitish ji, India is waiting for you. That means he is hinting towards 2024 elections. Remember, Nitish Kumar's name was once upon a time it was projected as Prime Minister candidate. He was one of the Prime Ministerial candidate at one point of time.
Yes.
But
Yes.
soon after, after when he became CM, all those speculations went gone. So
And
now,
on that
this
note,
tweet is an
Saurabh, I
important
also want to bring in my colleague Maria Shakil. Maria, नए स्वरूप में नए गठबंधन के नेतृत्व की जवाबदेही के लिए श्री नीतीश कुमार जी को बधाई. Should we take it as some kind of official statement that he will be the chief minister?
Yes, so it is official now, and it is coming from Upendra Kushwaha, who is the state JDU president and member of the parliamentary board of the JDU. In fact, he was present in that meeting. We can also tell our viewers that even as we speak, Nitish Kumar is having lunch with a select few members of his core group, which includes Sanjay Jha, who is a minister, Lalan Singh, who is JDU president, and Upendra Kushwaha himself. So Upendra Kushwaha perhaps has been told by Nitish Kumar to put out a tweet of this nature, making it official that in another 1 hour from now, Nitish Kumar will be heading to governor's residence to complete all the formalities. So it's very clear that this alliance is over, and Nitish Kumar is set to return in an alliance with RJD. So the Swaroop is the word, which is essentially this, that whatever the political party, Nitish Kumar is the face.
Yes.
And also Desh ke Netritva. Again, that is a big message that is coming in.
Sure.
That the alliance understanding, as we have been talking about, Anusha, and we broke that story just a few minutes back, about the understanding that has been reached between Tejasvi Yadav and Nitish Kumar is that in 2024, Nitish Kumar would want to try his hand at the central, in the central leadership in terms of central politics or India politics at a level, and as far as he is concerned, he would be taking over the alliance in 2025. So first official confirmation, the alliance with the BJP is over, and Nitish Kumar will continue as the chief minister now with the RJD.
The big development that Maria Shakil is reporting, Upendra Kushwaha has officially confirmed that alliance with BJP is over. A new chapter for Nitish Kumar. He will be the chief minister. All eyes on that crucial meeting with the governor. We'll continue tracking all the developments here on CNN News 18, slipping into a short break.
People were enjoying a picnic at a forest near a river in Khargone, but the water levels rose suddenly after rains. The picnickers rushed to higher ground to save themselves and left their cars behind. At least 14 cars were swept away in the surging river waters. Police rushed to the spot and pulled out 10 with the help of tractors from local villagers. But the cars failed to start because water had entered the engines. So the picnickers were sent to their homes in other cars. Local police have been asked to put up a board in the area informing people about the danger of water levels rising suddenly.
Malaysia is procuring 18 Tejas fighter jets, while the United States, Australia, Argentina and Indonesia have all shown interest. So why exactly is the Tejas so much in demand? It is fully capable of carrying 8 to 9 tons of payload. It can fly with as many weapons as the Sukhoi series of fighter jets. Despite being light, its speed is unmatched. It can also refuel mid-air and be ready for war again. It has the ability to dodge enemy radar as well. It was raining gold medals for India on the final day of the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham today.
Two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu won her maiden gold at the CWG. Sindhu has now completed the set, having won bronze in 2014, silver in 2018 and now gold in Birmingham.
Yeah, I waited for this for a long time now and finally I've done it. So super happy.
Then came the turn of 20-year-old Lakshya Sen, who made the comeback of a lifetime and clinched a gold medal in badminton men's singles.
मतलब मैंने यही सोचा कि I'll take one match at a time and not to put too much pressure on myself. And yeah, definitely I'm very happy now.
India's star doubles pair of Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankareddy won the country's third gold from the badminton court.
We prepared for it in the team event as well, and we wanted a gold no matter what.
And table tennis star Achanta Sharad Kamal proved that age is just a number. The 40-year-old capped his best ever performance at the Commonwealth Games by winning the men's singles gold.
India's men's hockey team settled for silver after they lost 7-0 to defending champions Australia. While India came into the final on the back of some fine performances in the group stage, the Australian side pushed the Indian defenders from the word go today. So here's how India have stacked up at the podium at the end of the Commonwealth Games. India are currently at 4th position on the podium of Commonwealth 2022, an overall medal tally of over 60, 22 gold medals, 16 silver medals and 23 bronze medals in one of the best performances in the CWG Games that India has had. One person was killed after a cloudburst led to flooding in Himachal Pradesh's Chamba district.
The cloudburst triggered flash floods, muddy water gushing down the hilly region. 2 villages were affected by the cloudburst and several homes were washed away, due to which one person was killed. Agricultural land was also damaged due to the flash floods. Heavy rains triggered landslides in Kinnaur and Himachal Pradesh. National Highway 5 was completely blocked after loose stones and debris fell on it. The highway has been closed for vehicular movement and machinery has been brought in to clear the road so that traffic can be restored.
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar will be meeting all his JDU MLAs tomorrow and is likely to take a call on the future of his alliance with the BJP. The JDU has accused the BJP of working against Nitish Kumar in the 2020 elections and of disrespecting allies. Rajya Sabha MP and senior advocate Kapil Sibal says there is no hope left in the Supreme Court. He was expressing his displeasure over some of the recent judgments passed by the Apex Court. He criticized the Supreme Court for dismissing the plea filed by Zakia Jafri, challenging the clean chit given to PM Modi in the 2002 Gujarat riots case. In Tamil Nadu's Tanjavur district, VVIP mindset, and that too brazenly on camera, was in full display.
An ambulance was stopped in order to let the convoy of the State Education Minister pass. The siren-blaring ambulance stopped on the road while the cavalcade of the minister passed by. There were around 20 to 25 cars in the minister's convoy. They were going to review flood prevention work. The ambulance had to wait till the entire convoy went by. A police officer was also seen standing near the ambulance and saluting as the cars passed by. Opposition parties in Tamil Nadu have demanded action against the minister for this VVIP arrogance.
40 days after the BJP and Shiv Sena formed a new government in Maharashtra under Eknath Shinde, the cabinet is likely to be expanded Tuesday. So far, the Maharashtra cabinet has been functioning with just 2 members, that's Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. Key portfolios like home, finance and revenue are likely to go to the BJP. China is keeping up the military pressure on Taiwan after US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit last week. with China continuing military drills very close to the median line.
China is extending military exercises surrounding Taiwan. The People's Liberation Army's Eastern Theater Command said it was focused on holding joint anti-submarine and sea assault operations in an unspecified location. Taiwan has detected nearly 13 Chinese warships and nearly 40 sorties near the island. The PLA also conducted live-fire air-to-air missile drills. China's largest ever military exercises are a response to US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan last week. The exercises have disrupted shipping and air traffic and substantially raised concerns about a potential conflict in the region.
More than a dozen cars were washed away in floods in Madhya Pradesh's Khargone district.
People were enjoying a picnic at a forest near a river in Khargone, but the water levels rose suddenly after rains. The picnickers rushed to higher ground to save themselves and left their cars behind.
Welcome back, and a quick check of some key stories. The self-proclaimed BJP leader Shrikant Tyagi, who was caught on camera abusing and hitting a woman, has been arrested from Meerut. Tyagi was absconding since the video went viral in the public domain. The UP government had also sent JCBs to Tyagi's house to remove the illegal encroachments. The residents alleged that Tyagi encroached upon the public area 3 years ago and gradually started expanding the illegal structures.
मैं बहुत इमोशनल हो रही हूँ क्योंकि अगेन बात यही है कि एक अरेस्ट के बाद ये डर भी है कि जो पास में बाकी सबके साथ हुआ है वो उनके साथ ना हो जाए, क्योंकि मुझे मेरा भाई घर पे चाहिए। उसने जो किया गलत किया। तो आधे लोगों को तो पता ही नहीं कि श्रीकांत त्यागी हैं कौन। फॉल्स एलिगेशंस लगाया जा रहा है होप पे बने हुए हैं कि मतलब वही है, हर इंसान का वक्त आता है। अभी इनका चल रहा है, कल को हमारा आएगा।
The Shinde-Fadnavis government in the state of Maharashtra expanded their cabinet today. 18 MLAs, 9 from BJP and 9 from Shinde camp took oath today. The cabinet expansion comes after almost 40 days after Sena's Eknath Shinde was sworn in as the chief minister and Devendra Fadnavis took oath as the deputy chief minister following Uddhav Thackeray's resignation. The Indian boxing team arrived at Delhi International Airport after making the nation proud at the Commonwealth Games held in Birmingham. We also had Neetu Ghana's Rohit Tokas and Amit Pangal receive the grand welcome at the airport.
ये मेरी अभी तक की सबसे बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस रही है और मैं अभी ऐसे ही ट्रेनिंग और अच्छे से ट्रेनिंग करती रहूँगी और ऐसे ही गोल्ड मेडल जीतती रहूँगी अपने देश के लिए। मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी का धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगी और उनकी तरफ से भी हमें बहुत सपोर्ट मिल रहा है, तो मैं चाहूँगी हमें ऐसे ही आगे भी ऐसे ही सपोर्ट मिलता रहे और हम ऐसे ही मेडल जीतते रहेंगे।
The IMD has issued an orange alert for Mumbai and Thane with intense to very intense rain predicted in isolated places. As per the IMD, intense to very intense rain with gusty winds reaching at about 40 to 50 km per hour, very likely at isolated places in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai and Thane. Well, once again, shifting our focus to that pot boiler in Bihar, sources within the JDU indicate to CNN News 18 that Nitish Kumar will officially hand over his resignation to Governor at around 4 p.m. Once he hands over that resignation, he will stake a claim to form the government yet again. With the letter of support from the Mahagathbandhan partners, my colleague Maria Shakil with us on the broadcast. Maria, tell us about the procedure which is to follow once that meeting with the governor happens at 4 p.m.
Yes, so what we are being told now is that Nitish Kumar, when he heads to the governor's residence, which is right here, that is the office of Fagu Chauhan, who is the present governor of Bihar, he will be actually putting in his papers. So there was a lot of speculation as to what will be the process that will be followed by Nitish Kumar. Will he be seeking resignation or will he be sacking the ministers of the BJP in the cabinet? Because in 2013, that's what he had done. And then we saw how he ensured that, Jitan Ram Manjhi becomes the chief minister. This time around, what sources in the JDU are telling us is that Nitish Kumar, when he heads to the governor's residence, he is likely to resign. and the resignation will be followed by perhaps a letter of support that will be given by Tejasvi Yadav and other alliance partners of Mahagathbandhan to ensure that the power transition happens smoothly. So perhaps in the next few hours we'll be seeing a rather smooth transition of power, but again, as I've been saying, let's be clear that the BJP has not arrived so far on the political pitch of Bihar. They have been waiting from the sidelines. They are waiting and watching for Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav to make their next move. So from that place, that is one Ane mark, which is the Chief Minister's residence, Nitish Kumar will be covering a distance of roughly 100 meters and going straight into the governor's home, that is the Raj Bhavan in Patna, and will be resigning. So Nitish Kumar resigns, and then the next government will be formed. So perhaps the decision, what was earlier being said is that there will be a repeat of 2013 when Nitish Kumar had actually sacked the BJP ministers then when he walked out of alliance with the BJP. This time it may not happen. There would be a different process that may be followed in which Nitish Kumar will be resigning and then handing over simultaneously perhaps letters of support that would be given by Tejasvi Yadav of RJD and other allies.
Maria, I want to talk about the constitutional conventions and formalities which are very, very fundamental to this transition of power. You've been pointing out that the role of the speaker is very important, role of the governor is very important. And the numbers are stacked in favor of the RJD plus the JDU. But all these constitutional functionaries are going to play a very, very important role in the transition of power.
Yes, that's right. Again, as there are a lot of grey areas in this power transition. The role of the governor, as you pointed out rightly, also the role of the speaker of the Vidhan Sabha, because what we are also being told is that, remember, a few months ago in Bihar Assembly there was almost a brawl that happened, an open fight between the Treasury bench ministers and MLAs and the opposition MLAs, in which 18 MLAs of the RJD have been identified as those who were responsible for ruckus. Can the speaker take some very harsh decision against those MLAs? A possibility of that is not being ruled out at this point. In fact, the political circles in Patna are abuzz with what can be the next move of Vinod Kumar Sinha, who is the present Assembly Speaker, and he happens also to be from the BJP. So yes, there are a lot of grey areas, and again, as I've been saying, yes, the transition may be happening from BJP to RJD with Nitish Kumar continuing to be the Chief Minister, but BJP is so far only waiting and watching from the sidelines. This new Mahagathbandhan of Nitish, RJD and other political parties may have the numerical strength. The numerical strength in a house which has the halfway mark of 122, the overall strength that they will be reaching would be above 160. So it's a comfortable number, almost like a two-third, but there are challenges of running this government because of its inherent contradictions. Nitish Kumar may continue, as Upendra Kushwaha, the state JDU president, says, कि नए स्वरूप में सरकार बन रही है, but that नया स्वरूप, how much of that is doable? What is the future of this alliance is something that will be asked repeatedly.
All right, stay with us, Maria. This is Akanksha, and we'll continue with that discussion. But before we continue with that discussion, let's also tell you what this Bihar pot boiler is all about. Remember, the Mahagathbandhan is all set to return in Bihar. But what happens now? Nitish Kumar is all set to meet Bihar's governor at the Raj Bhavan at 4 p.m. This is the latest that we are bringing to you. These are the latest developments that have taken place. The other point to keep in mind is that Nitish Kumar will be meeting the Bihar governor at 4 p.m. Also, Nitish Kumar will be handing over the resignation to the governor. Nitish will stake claim as the next chief minister as well. This can only happen after he has handed over his resignation. Remember, a new government will have to be formed. Letters of support to be handed over to the governor. Now, this letter of support is not just going to be the JDU letter of support from the MLAs and MPs. We will always have Tejasvi, also have Tejasvi Yadav's party, that is the RJD, Tejasvi Yadav to accompany Nitish Kumar to meet the governor. This we are learning exclusively from our sources, that the JDU and RJD will be walking towards the governor together. Tejasvi is expected to get the home portfolio the Speaker of the Vidhan Sabha is expected to be from the Congress party, and these are all attributed to sources. Remember, this is what we are learning as far as the crucial dynamics of the portfolios are concerned. The CPIML, that is also part of the Mahagathbandhan, is expected to support Nitish's government from outside. Now, that is also something that we are learning from our sources. The other crucial aspect is that Nitish Kumar will be sworn in after the Mahagathbandhan works out a formula. Remember, this is the formula that Maria has also been talking about. How crucial will be these decisions, how this governance moves forward is the big question now. Majority to be proven on the floor house. This is another important aspect, because remember, a floor test will have to be conducted, which is where the majority will be decided. Again, the role of the governor kicks in. For more details, let's quickly go across to Siddhant, who will put that into perspective for us. Siddhant, we had a plethora of points for our viewers. Many of them, as we are learning, are to be attributed to sources. The fact that we are learning of reports that the Speaker is expected to be from the Congress party, and that the home portfolio is expected to go ahead with Tejashwi Yadav. Could you give us this bird's eye view of what you're learning from your sources?
Well, yes, that's the plan till now, that Tejashwi Yadav is likely to get the home portfolio, and Nitish Kumar is also going to give his resignation to the governor at around 4 p.m. So these two are the latest information that we have. Also, this time around, Nitish Kumar is returning in Mahagathbandhan for the second time, and that too, at a time where he is not comfortable being in alliance with BJP. There is not just one, but multiple issues which Nitish Kumar has with BJP, from the rise of RCP Singh, making him a cabinet minister, to the two deputy chief minister, that makes Nitish Kumar uncomfortable. At the same time, caste census is again going to be a big political issue in the state of Bihar, and Nitish Kumar has been talking about it time and again. Nitish Kumar also is giving out a message that BJP was planning to apply the same Uddhav Thackeray model to him, to end his innings in the politics. So all those things, allegations were also made, and in fact, this is perhaps the reason that there was no other option with Nitish Kumar but to go with RJD, and this is exactly what he is doing. That he is going with RJD, and in the states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, usually CM keeps home portfolio with them. But Nitish Kumar has agreed upon giving home portfolio to Tejashwi Yadav is a big gesture, and also Nitish Kumar is also giving out a message that Tejashwi is the second most powerful person in the government, and he is going to take forward the legacy of Lohia and all those socialist leaders. And in fact, as Maria was also reporting, that this is the deal between RJD and JDU, that once Nitish Kumar will enter politics in Delhi, then it's Tejashwi Yadav who will take the legacy of Lalu and Nitish forward here in Bihar. Back to you.
Right, Siddhant, as we speak, let me bring in some breaking inputs. We are learning of a fresh tweet. Remember, the Yadavs have been on a tweet spree as we've seen the developments happen. And the latest we are bringing to you is Lalu Yadav's daughter tweeting again. This one says, "Aasman ki bulandi se bhi uncha unka iman hai, janta janardan ka jo abhiman." This is the latest we are bringing to you. Another tweet coming in from one of Lalu Yadav's daughters. Let's quickly go across to Saurabh for more perspective on this. Saurabh, if you could tell me which of Lalu Yadav's daughters has sent out this tweet and place this into perspective for us.
Could you please repeat?
Saurabh, we just learnt of a fresh tweet come out, and it has been sent out by Lalu Yadav's daughter. It says, "Aasman ki bulandi se bhi uncha unka iman hai, janta janardan ka jo abhiman hai." If you could tell me what is the meaning of this cryptic tweet, what are we to make of this tweet coming from one of Lalu Yadav's daughters?
Akansha, the tweet says Kingmaker, and this is a very significant tweet and a significant word which is being used at this point of time when we are witnessing the change in the rule in Bihar. Kingmaker means that although the Lalu Prasad Yadav is there in Delhi, and we heard that we also reported that Nitish Kumar had called up Sonia Gandhi and discussed several issues. Now this can be linked that Sonia Gandhi and Lalu Prasad Yadav have been close, we know, in the past, and they have been in the part of major political, whenever there is a political development, they both are together. So when the tweet comes as Kingmaker, it certainly signifies that Nitish was mediated by Sonia Gandhi to merge with Lalu's RJD.
Right.
This is the significance of this tweet, that Sonia Gandhi helped the JDU and RJD merge together, and today the result is out. Upendra Kushwaha, who is the parliamentary board chairman of JDU, has officially said that there is going to be a change in the government, and he has thanked Nitish Kumar about it. So this was a significant tweet. And if we talk about the timing is allotted at 4 p.m. when the governor has given the time to meet the CM, and so it's already 3 o'clock. Within 45 or 50 minutes we are going to see Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav and all the Mahagathbandhan leaders arrive here at CM house, and they all will go to the governor's house, which is just 20 meters away from CM's house. The security has been beefed up here. We can see the police officials have been, discussions are going on with the senior police officials, how to conduct the traffic, how to control the crowd. Many police officials are here. Security has been beefed up. DSP, SP of Patna, ASP of Patna, they all are present here at this location. And we are seeing that many people have started coming in. The crowd has already started coming in, whether they are the supporters of JDU and RJD, both of them are here. So in less than 45 minutes or so, we are going to see very dramatic visuals from this location.
Absolutely, Saurabh. I can see there's the entire Raj Bhavan is bustling with activity. Maria, if I could bring you in on this, I'd like you to comment on the kind of power sharing that we are learning from our sources. We are being told that home is going to be very crucial. All right, Maria seems to have lost that connection with us. But Siddhant, if I could come to you and discuss the power sharing dynamics as we are learning from our sources, as you were rightly pointing out, home happens to be a very crucial portfolio, and that is now expected to go to Tejasvi Yadav. The post of the Lok Sabha Speaker is going to be shared by the Congress. What do you make of this kind of equitable power sharing dynamics? Do we see the Mahagathbandhan now ready to turn a new leaf of sorts? Saurabh, if I could take that question from you, did you hear my question? Do you see, going by this power sharing dynamics that we've learnt of, do you see that the Mahagathbandhan is now ready to turn a new leaf?
Yes, and Tejasvi Yadav demanding home is a very significant portfolio, because Nitish government, in the Nitish government, the home was kept by Nitish himself. Now several questions were raised when Agnipath protest took place, and law and order situation was questioned by the BJP leaders. Now the questions raised about the JDU couldn't handle the law and order situation when such crisis happened in the state, where many trains were burnt, many government and private properties were destroyed by the protesters. So the big question at that point of time was that whether Nitish Kumar was able to protect the law and order in the state. Now Tejasvi Yadav is asking, if he is asking about for the home portfolio, then it will be a significant thing, because he can, because he has an experience in the party to he has been given the authority by Lalu Prasad Yadav to take all the decision in the party. So if whom is being asked by Tejasvi, it is a significant one, and he thinks that he can control the law and order situation in Bihar.
Stay with us, Saurabh, because Siddhant is also back. Siddhant, if I could bring you in on the kind of power sharing that we can now observe as far as sources telling us are concerned. We are learning that a crucial portfolio like home might be taken away by Tejasvi Yadav. We can see that Nitish Kumar has actually chosen to give that, if sources are to be relied. With all these kind of developments, how do you view the power sharing and the equitable division of power that's taking place in this Mahagathbandhan? Do you foresee a new Mahagathbandhan of sorts?
Well, yes, that's right. So basically, before taking this decision of coming out of an alliance with BJP, Nitish Kumar must have had met Tejasvi Yadav and the other senior leaders of RJD to decide what is going to be the shape of this next Mahagathbandhan innings in Bihar. And at that time only, when going by the statements that we are getting to hear from the leaders, and in fact what sources are telling us is that the picture was very much clear from beginning, that there is going to be no problem as far as portfolio allocation is concerned. Also, this time around, till now, Nitish Kumar was always a political rival of Lalu Prasad Yadav, then Tejasvi Yadav. Now Nitish Kumar is going to leave his legacy behind in Bihar. So Tejasvi Yadav is going to own the two legacies in Bihar. One is of Lalu Yadav and the other is of Nitish Kumar. And that is a political gain for Tejasvi Yadav, A. B, this time around Nitish Kumar will be the Chief Minister of Bihar, but at the same time he will be more active in the Delhi politics. He will be, the task on him is to get the opposition parties together, to be the face of the opposition, and also there are a lot of work that needs to be done for the united opposition. So Nitish Kumar is going to focus more on that, and his second in command would be Tejasvi Yadav here in Bihar. So showing a great gesture, and in fact showing a big heart to Tejasvi Yadav by giving the home portfolio, because as I have been saying, that home is a very significant portfolio for any CM. Only given away in special situations, because usually home CM doesn't give away the home portfolio. So this in itself reflects the clout of Tejasvi Yadav, that Nitish Kumar had no other option, so he has to go with Tejasvi Yadav. Now Tejasvi will ride on his legacy also, and he's getting the home ministry as well, and he is going to run the show in Bihar. Exactly that is the deal between Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav.
Very well put, Siddhant. It just does seem like the deal so far. Having said that, is Nitish Kumar now ready to pave the way for Tejasvi Yadav only to pursue his own ambitions at the national political level? Because I'm going to refer to Upendra Kushwaha's tweet. As cryptic as it may sound, it may just be led at many levels, because if you hear what he has to say, नए स्वरूप में नए गठबंधन के नेतृत्व की जवाबदेही के लिए श्री नीतीश कुमार जी को बधाई। नीतीश जी आगे बढ़िए, देश आपका इंतजार कर रहा है. What is one to make of this tweet, Siddhant? Siddhant, can you hear me?
Yes. Haji, so that's what I'm saying. So we are yet to get the official confirmation, to be very honest. This is not the way for any party to break from alliance and enter a new alliance with a new party. But such tweets are coming out. Such Upendra Kushwaha has tweeted, Lalu Yadav's daughter has tweeted, the other daughter has tweeted. So all these tweets are in a way confirmation that both these leaders are coming together, both these parties are coming together, and it's going to be the start of new era in Bihar. And in fact, the posters that have come up in Patna city, Nitish Sabke Hain, and such kind of emotional appeal, posters carrying emotional appeal have come all across Patna and Bihar. So now Nitish Babu is eyeing on the centre's politics in a very new role, in a very new and fresh manner, and this is the reason that this particular setup arrangement has been made in the state of Bihar. And you know, this is going to suit both the parties. In fact, we have seen in 2015 how the both parties managed to stop BJP coming in power in Bihar. So, you know, the vote bank gets consolidated, and that helps politically. So that is the entire deal with Nitish Kumar, to become this tall leader from Bihar who will be active in the politics of Delhi, and Tejasvi will run show back here in Patna.
Absolutely, it is. I'm also going to quickly go back to Saurabh. Saurabh, let's talk about this alliance in terms of the caste consensus of Bihar. As we all know that the RJD brings with it the crucial majority of the Yadavs in Bihar. As far as the JDU is concerned, the Kurmi vote or the vote of the Dalits and the OBCs, they all come along with the JDU. So do you see this as a power pact alliance when it comes to the RJD and the JDU? And how do you see this now translating into numbers for the 2024 upcoming Lok Sabha election? Saurabh, can you hear me?
Akansha, am I audible? Yes, yes. See, Bihar has always voted on the basis of caste, be it any election before 2020. It has always been said that Bihar election is based on caste, and that's why Nitish government has focused on, you know, caste census for all the OBC. Which BJP had been denying to, you know, do it at the state level, saying that the state can do it on its own expenditure. And then it was seen that Nitish government did it, and they have started the procedure of caste census. So if we talk about the caste calculations, yes, RJD has a major vote bank of you know, the Dalits and the Yadavs, and if you talk about JDU, the Kurmis, the Queries and OBCs are their vote bank. So it's a perfect combination. If we talk about the government formation, it's a perfect combination for 2024 also and 2025 assembly elections. Now if we talk about the BJP tried to set its footprint. Just we saw on 31st of July when Home Minister Amit Shah and JP Nadda was there in a program in Patna, and that program was a national executive meeting for you know, the wings of BJP, and the purpose of that meeting was to set the footprints of BJP as far as the Dalit votes are concerned, the SC/ST, because all the 7 morchas of BJP participated in that meeting. The main purpose of that meeting was to set a footprint as far as the caste is concerned. So the caste has always been you know, a factor in Bihar's politics. We are joined by Maria also, and she'll give her and tell us more about it because she's more mature.
You know, caste is the only driving factor as far as Bihar politics is concerned. It is not one of the important factors. The fact is that when Nitish Kumar, who is you know, from the Kurmi caste it has just 6% as far as the larger caste arithmetic in Bihar is concerned. But Nitish Kumar, because he was in alliance with the BJP, he could really broad base that. And in his years, soon after when he came to power in 2005, there was social engineering Nitish Kumar style. What was that social engineering? What he had done was that out of the OBCs, he ensured that the extreme backward castes emerge out of it, and among the Muslims, he created that caste calculation of Pasmanda Muslims, which are the poorest Muslims among the Muslims. So he ensured that there is a new constituency that emerges for Nitish Kumar.
And Pasmanda Muslim, BJP tried to include them in that morcha also.
Morcha as well. So then in that case, Nitish Kumar in his tenure from 2005 onwards has done this kind of social engineering. But the larger question then is, who really benefits if this power transition happens, and when the alliance moves from JDU BJP to JDU RJD. The two political parties which are gaining visibly here is as if you look at the larger caste calculation, one is the RJD, because of course Tejasvi Yadav becomes a part of the government, and let's not forget that Tejasvi Yadav will be forced to implement the promise that he made in 2020 when he said, "मैं first cabinet में 10 लाख नौकरी का फैसला करूंगा." Now the Yuva of Bihar, the youth of Bihar will be asking Tejasvi Yadav,
because he has been asking for 19 lakh jobs from BJP.
So what really happened? Ensure that that promise is implemented. So will he be able to create that job opportunities? One. Second, I think another gainer would be the BJP, because BJP would now function in an unabashed manner. That there would be no, caution as far as the BJP is concerned. So far, the BJP leaders, despite having the numerical strength bigger than Nitish Kumar, were being careful because they really did not want to antagonize Nitish Kumar. BJP in opposition will be a far bigger force than they have been so far in Nitish Kumar's cabinet. So let's be prepared for a very aggressive opposition that will come from the BJP on every front. So far, Nitish Kumar has been saying that, BJP tried to weaken my government. When the BJP actually occupies the leader of opposition role, when they occupy the opposition space, it will be a different political dynamics completely. So for all the talks, yes, this strength, as far as the numbers on the board is concerned, it will be 160 plus in an assembly where the halfway mark is 122. But let's be clear that will this alliance be a functional alliance? What is the future of this alliance? All that is a big question going ahead.
So we heard Maria, she has plethora of experience and she shared with us. Back to studio.
Right, Saurav, thank you to you and Maria for breaking that down for us. But stay with us because I'm sure a lot of action is expected to take place as we inch closer to 4 p.m. That's when the crucial meet is going to happen. Siddharth, if I could bring you in on this, we just heard what Maria had to say. She's just broken the entire power dynamics down for us very beautifully. And one thing that stood out from what she was saying was the fact, I can't help but think that how Nitish Kumar's JDU has been sidelined by two major parties in Bihar right now, and that is the RJD and the BJP. That, of course, the next inevitable question that now arises is, why shouldn't Nitish Kumar then move over to the center for more power? Siddharth, can you hear me? All right. Arun, if I could bring you in on the same question that I was asking. As we've seen how the JDU has been sidelined by the RJD and as far as the BJP is concerned, that's been, of course, eating into their pie, which was not the case in the years earlier. Should that now pave way, or is that also leaving Nitish Kumar with the only option of pursuing national politics?
Well, see, what it appears at this moment is that Nitish Kumar, did not have any other option available, because he was sulking. We had seen in the past, not only from his words, but the kind of approach which he has resorted to. There were 4 or 5 instances where Prime Minister Modi chaired the meetings of the chief ministers. He was not present in those meetings, and that was something which was a signal for BJP. And in fact, as we have been saying, that the state leaders of BJP were really not happy with giving Nitish Kumar the responsibility of the state. They were saying that they have 77 seats and Nitish Kumar is around 45 seats. So why we are making him the chief minister? But still the central leadership's pressure, and then he was given the responsibility. So there was this not good terms between the state leaders of BJP and Nitish Kumar were there. but it would reach to this level, it was not expected. Nitish Kumar's, a recent altercation which we saw happened with the speaker in the assembly, who comes from the BJP, Vijay Kumar Sinha. That is something which hasn't gone down well. He was straight away questioning the Home Ministry of the state. And remember, Nitish Kumar holds the Home Ministry. He was questioning the law and order under Nitish Kumar. There were a few instances in which the actions were not taken by the Home Ministry, and merely they transferred the SPs and the DM of that area. That's something which he raised in the assembly, that by transferring the SP and DM will not change anything. This is just an eyewash. That was one instance which which happened on the floor of the assembly, and in fact Nitish Kumar responded to that by saying that speaker should work in the ambit of constitution. He should not go beyond that. In fact, there was a meeting after this altercation on the House of Bihar to actually save the BJP and
how much of
JDU's
that exactly? Arun, stay with us, because I'm going to bring in Siddhant on that note and try and get in a sense of all those altercations, how they have translated into for the JDU. Siddhant, if I could bring you in, we all know that as far as Nitish Kumar is concerned, he's way past his peak. Also, he's weakened, his personal popularity is weakened. As far as the numbers go for the JDU, we've seen those numbers also reducing. Does it not make sense if one were to speculate that there's the only option? All right, we're getting in a bite from Pashupati Kumar Paras, who's the president of the Rashtriya Lok Janshakti Party. Let's listen in to what Pashupati Kumar Paras has to say.
देखिए, जो भी हो, लेकिन ये अच्छा नहीं हुआ। पूर्व में भी इसका एक्सपेरिमेंट हो चुका है। आज से लगभग 3-4 वर्ष पहले भी इसका एक्सपेरिमेंट हो चुका था, और आरजेडी और जेडीयू के बीच में सरकारें बनी थी, और सरकार बहुत अधिक दिन तक टिकाऊ नहीं रहा और सरकार चली गई। फिर दोबारे आरजेडी और जनता दल यू और कांग्रेस और कम्युनिस्ट ये सब मिला के सरकार बन रही है। तो ये बिहार के विकास के लिए शुभ संकेत नहीं है। ये हमारी अपनी मान्यता है कि बिहार के विकास के लिए ये शुभ संकेत नहीं है, और यदि ऐसी परिस्थिति आई है तो हमारी पार्टी, आज हमारी पार्टी का पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड का फैसला हुआ, हमारी पार्टी का ये डिसीजन है, फैसला है। हमारी पार्टी के पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड के चेयरमैन श्रीमती बीना सिंह जी हैं, जो सांसद भी हैं। ये फैसला हुआ है कि हम एनडीए गठबंधन के साथ थे और आज भी रहेंगे। आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में हमारी पार्टी काम करेगी।
गवर्नर से भी नीतीश कुमार जी मिलने वाले। नीतीश कुमार जी पिछली बहुत सी चीज़ों में एनडीए के साथ शामिल भी नहीं हुए, चाहे वो इलेक्शन हो या कुछ भी और चीज़ें, उनमें शामिल भी नहीं रहे।
नहीं, इधर नहीं आ रहे थे। राष्ट्रपति के चुनाव भी नहीं आए, उपराष्ट्रपति में भी नहीं आए, भोज में भी नहीं आए, कल नीति आयोग की बैठक थी उस परसों, उसमें भी नहीं आए। तो बहुत सा कारण है। खैर, जो उस कारण के पीछे मैं नहीं जाऊंगा। हमारी पार्टी छोटी है और जो डिसीजन है हमारी पार्टी का, उसमें हम नरेंद्र मोदी जी के साथ।
आखिरी सवाल, अगर
The JDU has accused the BJP of working against Nitish Kumar in the 2020 elections and of disrespecting allies. Rajya Sabha MP and senior advocate Kapil Sibal says there is no hope left in the Supreme Court. He was expressing his displeasure over some of the recent judgments passed by the apex court. He criticized the Supreme Court for dismissing the plea filed by Zakia Jafri, challenging the clean chit given to PM Modi in the 2002 Gujarat riots case. In Tamil Nadu's Tanjavur district, VVIP mindset, and that too brazenly on camera, was in full display.
An ambulance was stopped in order to let the convoy of the state education minister pass. The siren-blaring ambulance stopped on the road while the cavalcade of the minister passed by. There were around 20 to 25 cars in the minister's convoy. They were going to review flood prevention work. The ambulance had to wait till the entire convoy went by. A police officer was also seen standing near the ambulance and saluting as the cars passed by. Opposition parties in Tamil Nadu have demanded action against the minister for this VVIP arrogance.
40 days after the BJP and Shiv Sena formed a new government in Maharashtra under Eknath Shinde, the cabinet is likely to be expanded Tuesday. So far, the Maharashtra cabinet has been functioning with just two members, that's Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. Key portfolios like home, finance and revenue are likely to go to the BJP. China is keeping up the military pressure on Taiwan after US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit last week, with China continuing military drills very close to the median line.
China is extending military exercises surrounding Taiwan. The People's Liberation Army's Eastern Theatre Command said it was focused on holding joint anti-submarine and sea assault operations in an unspecified location. Taiwan has detected nearly 13 Chinese warships and nearly 40 sorties near the island. The PLA also conducted live-fire air-to-air missile drills. China's largest ever military exercises are a response to US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan last week. The exercises have disrupted shipping and air traffic and substantially raised concerns about a potential conflict in the region.
More than a dozen cars were washed away in floods in Madhya Pradesh's Khargone district.
People were enjoying a picnic at a forest near a river in Khargone, but the water levels rose suddenly after rains. The picnickers rushed to higher ground to save themselves and left their cars behind. At least 14 cars were swept away in the surging river waters. Police rushed to the spot and pulled out 10 with the help of tractors from local villagers. But the cars failed to start because water had entered the engines. So the picnickers were sent to their homes in other cars. Local police have been asked to put up a board in the area informing people about the danger of water levels rising suddenly.
Malaysia is procuring 18 Tejas fighter jets, while the United States, Australia, Argentina and Indonesia have all shown interest. So why exactly is the Tejas so much in demand? It is fully capable of carrying 8 to 9 tons of payload. It can fly with as many weapons as the Sukhoi series of fighter jets. Despite being light, its speed is unmatched. It can also refuel mid-air and be ready for war again. It has the ability to dodge enemy radar as well. It was raining gold medals for India on the final day of the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham today.
Two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu won her maiden gold at the CWG. Sindhu has now completed the set, having won bronze in 2014, silver in 2018 and now gold in Birmingham.
Yeah, I waited for this for a long time now and finally I've done it. So super happy.
Then came the turn of 20-year-old Lakshya Sen, who made the comeback of a lifetime and clinched a gold medal in badminton men's singles.
मतलब मैंने यही सोचा कि I'll take one match at a time and not to put too much pressure on myself. And definitely I'm very happy now.
India's star doubles pair of Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankareddy won the country's third gold from the badminton court.
We prepared for it in the team event as well, and we wanted a gold no matter what.
And table tennis star Achanta Sharad Kamal proved that age is just a number. The 40-year-old capped his best ever performance at the Commonwealth Games by winning the men's singles gold.
India's men's hockey team settled for silver after they lost 7-0 to defending champions Australia. While India came into the final on the back of some fine performances in the group stage, the Australian side pushed the Indian defenders from the word go today. So here's how India have stacked up at the podium at the end of the Commonwealth Games. India are currently at 4th position on the podium of Commonwealth 2022, an overall medal tally of over 60, 22 gold medals, 16 silver medals and 23 bronze medals in one of the best performances in the CWG Games that India has had. One person was killed after a cloudburst led to flooding in Himachal Pradesh's Chamba district.
The cloudburst triggered flash floods, muddy water gushing down the hilly region. 2 villages were affected by the cloudburst and several homes were washed away, due to which one person was killed. Agricultural land was also damaged due to the flash floods.
जो एनडीए के लिए था, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ मिलकर इन्होंने चुनाव लड़ा और आज उस जनादेश का अपमान कर कर ये पुनः महागठबंधन के साथ जा रहे हैं। इसमें कौन सा बिहार का हित छुपा हुआ है मुझे बताएं। और पिछले 1.5 साल में भाई ये खूबसूरत समय था मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी के पास 2017 में जब ये वापस एनडीए में आए थे, वो एक खूबसूरत मौका था मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी के पास, क्योंकि एक लंबे समय के बाद जो प्रधानमंत्री जी की भाषा में डबल इंजन की सरकार कहा जाता है, वो डबल इंजन की सरकार एक लंबे समय के बाद, लगभग 2.5 दशक के बाद बिहार को मिली थी, जहां केंद्र की तर्ज में बिहार में भी सरकार थी। बिहार की विडंबना ये रही है कि एक लंबे अरसे तक केंद्र में कोई और सरकार, बिहार में कोई और सरकार, विरोधाभास ही उन सरकारों का इतना ज्यादा रहता है। जब बिहार में एनडीए की सरकार थी 2005 में, जब मुख्यमंत्री जी बनकर आए थे, केंद्र में यूपीए की सरकार थी, और जब तक केंद्र में यूपीए की सरकार केंद्र से हटी, एनडीए की सरकार बनी, तब तक मुख्यमंत्री जी महागठबंधन में चले गए। तो भैया 17 के बाद 22 तक ये खूबसूरत मौका था, उस डबल इंजन की सरकार का ये उपयोग कर सकते थे। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ मिलकर, प्रधानमंत्री जी के साथ बैठकर बिहार के विकास के कार्यों को ये गति दे सकते थे, पर बदले में इन्होंने क्या किया, पूरा समय अपना व्यर्थ कर दिया अपनी व्यक्तिगत महत्वाकांक्षाओं के लिए। कैसे मैं राष्ट्रपति का दावेदार बन जाऊं। भैया ये जो व्यक्ति सीएम मटेरियल ढंग से नहीं बन पाए, वो पीएम मटेरियल तक ही उनकी महत्वाकांक्षाएं सीमित नहीं थी, प्रेसिडेंट मटेरियल बनना चाह रहे थे। क्यों इन्होंने 6 अगस्त तक का इंतजार किया भैया, बताएं ना मुझे। क्या 6 अगस्त तक इनके भीतर, इनके मन में क्या ये महत्वाकांक्षा थी कि संभवतः मुझे उपराष्ट्रपति का उम्मीदवार बना दिया जाएगा, कुछ और नहीं तो भागते चोर की लंगोटी सही भाई, राष्ट्रपति नहीं बने तो उपराष्ट्रपति बन जाए। क्या ये महत्वाकांक्षा थी इनके भीतर? और अगर वो महत्वाकांक्षा नहीं थी तो 6 अगस्त के बाद रातों रात ऐसा क्या हुआ? मुख्यमंत्री जी की अंतरात्मा जागती है कई बार, पर उनकी अंतरात्मा तब ज्यादा जागती है जब जब इनकी कुर्सी डोलती है। जब जब मुख्यमंत्री पद इनको खतरे में दिखता है, मुख्यमंत्री जी की अंतरात्मा जागने लगती है। अब इनको पता था, ना राष्ट्रपति बने ना उपराष्ट्रपति बने, अब इनको पता था कि सीएम भी ये ज्यादा दिनों तक नहीं रह पाएंगे, और 24 के बाद तो संभव ही नहीं है इनका सीएम। और उस वक्त मुख्यमंत्री जी ने क्या शुरू किया? बहाने तलाशने शुरू किए। आज मुख्यमंत्री जी को चिराग मॉडल याद आ रहा है। हाँ, चिराग पासवान मॉडल उनको याद आ रहा है, और डर इस बात का कि चिराग पासवान मॉडल पार्ट 2 कहीं रिपीट ना हो जाए। भैया जब वो चिराग पासवान मॉडल का जिक्र कर रहे थे तो हिम्मत ही तो सीधा बोलते ना कि कौन तैयार कर रहा था चिराग पासवान का मॉडल। चिराग पासवान के कंधे पर बंदूक रखकर आप दूसरों को निशाना बनाने का काम क्यों कर रहे हैं? भैया हिम्मत रखिए और सीधा बोलिए कि भैया भाजपा ने क्या आपके साथ ये किया। भाई 2020 का निर्णय लोक जनशक्ति पार्टी ने लिया, ये निर्णय मैंने लिया कि मुझे जनता दल यूनाइटेड के साथ चुनाव नहीं लड़ना है। भाई मैंने एक नीतिगत फैसला लिया, क्योंकि मेरा खुद बिहार फर्स्ट बिहारी फर्स्ट विजन डॉक्यूमेंट पे मैंने काम किया था, और मैं मानता था कि भैया किसी भी गठबंधन में अगर आप जाते हैं तो एक परंपरा रही है गठबंधनों की कि आप साझा न्यूनतम कार्यक्रम पे आप काम करते हैं, कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम ड्राफ्ट किया जाता है। ये हर गठबंधन की सरकार करती है। हम लोगों ने यूनाइटेड फ्रंट की सरकार से लेकर यूपीए की सरकारों तक सब जगह देखा। एनडीए ने नहीं किया क्योंकि इनके पास पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार है, वो अलग बात है। बट जब जब गठबंधन की सरकारें रही हैं, एक कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम तैयार होता है। मेरा नहीं विश्वास है भैया मुख्यमंत्री जी के साथ निश्चय पर। मैं चाहता था कि मेरा बिहारी फर्स्ट कोर्स में ऐड किया जाए, क्यों नहीं मुख्यमंत्री जी ने ऐड किया? मुख्यमंत्री जी बोलते हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने इनका अपमान किया। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने इनकी तमाम बातें मानते हुए, मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कोई संरक्षण नहीं कर रहा हूं, पर जब ये बातें बोलते हैं तो इनको याद भी करना चाहिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अपना गवर्नमेंट एजेंडा तक नहीं इनको दिया, जो मेरे लिए एक ऐतराज का विषय था। मैंने उस वक्त भी भाजपा से मैंने कहा था कि भैया आप एक ऐसी सरकार का हिस्सा क्यों बनने जा रहे हैं जो सरकार अपना एजेंडा ही आपका एजेंडा अपने गवर्नमेंट एजेंडे में लागू नहीं कर रही है। भैया 7 निश्चय एनडीए का तो एजेंडा नहीं था ना, वो महागठबंधन की सरकार में बना था जब मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी लालू जी के साथ थे। तो भाई जिस सरकार बदली पर एजेंडा तो नहीं बदला ना, वही एजेंडे पे काम हो रहा था जो लालू जी के वक्त महागठबंधन में हो रहा था, वही 2020 के बाद एनडीए के साथ होने लगा। भाजपा ने तो अपना एजेंडा भी नहीं दिया। तीसरे नंबर की पार्टी के नेता को उन्होंने मुख्यमंत्री बना दिया। कौन सी ऐसी बात थी जो कि मुख्यमंत्री जी ने कही और भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने नहीं मानी हो? आज ये बहाना तलाश रहे हैं, कभी चिराग पासवान को बहाना बनाते हैं, कभी बोलते हैं भैया भाजपा ने हमको अपमानित करने का काम किया। तमाम नीतियों से समझौता भारतीय जनता पार्टी करती रही, जिसका मुझे ऐतराज रहा है। सीए एनआरसी हमारे गृह मंत्री जी देश भर में उसको लागू करने की बात करते हैं और ये बिहार में उसके खिलाफ इन्होंने प्रस्ताव पारित किया। एक के बाद एक एजेंडे, जातीय जनगणना तक इन्होंने इनके साथ समझौता करके इनके घटक दल इनके साथ चलते रहे। पर ये मुख्यमंत्री जी की अपनी व्यक्तिगत महत्वाकांक्षाएं जिम्मेदार रही हैं और इसमें दुख मुझे इस बात का होता है कि आज जब बिहार को एक सरकार की जरूरत है, मुख्यमंत्री की जरूरत है, तो मुख्यमंत्री जी अपनी महत्वाकांक्षाओं के लिए इस्तीफा देंगे, दोबारा सरकार बनाएंगे, फिर शपथ लेंगे और इस बीच में जो सुखाड़ से जो किसान वहां पे मर रहे हैं उनका क्या? वो मरते रहेंगे। इनको कोई चिंता नहीं है कि बिहार में सुखाड़ से कितने किसान परेशान हैं। इनको कोई चिंता नहीं है कि रोज वहां पर छात्र हों, शिक्षक हों, वहां पे आंदोलन कर रहे हैं। और महंगाई और बेरोजगारी की तो चर्चा ही मुख्यमंत्री जी ने करना बंद कर दिया। 19 लाख का वादा कर ये सरकार में आए थे। आज अगर 19 लोगों को इन्होंने कहीं पे नौकरी दे दी हो तो मुख्यमंत्री जी जो कहेंगे मैं हारने को तैयार हूं। पर ये सरकार मुख्यमंत्री जी की, और आज मैं इस बात को बोलता हूं, जिनके साथ ये मिलकर सरकार बनाने जा रहे हैं, मैं उन लोगों को भी कहूंगा भैया आप लोगों का भी भविष्य ये खराब करने जा रहे हैं।
All right, so we are seeing those live visuals now coming in from close the Raj Bhavan, as we can see live shots coming in of CM Nitish Kumar, all set to head towards the Raj Bhavan, where he is expected to hand over his resignation to the governor. And in just a while from now, we'll also know whether or not he's been accompanied by Tejashwi Yadav of the RJD. For more details, let's quickly go across to Saurabh. Saurabh, if you could take us through these live visuals.
Arriving in towards the Raj Bhavan, we can see the cavalcade of CM Nitish. He's sitting in his electric vehicle and he just smiled and entered into Raj Bhavan. He just gave a gesture of smile and then he left inside the Raj Bhavan. We saw him smiling and going inside Raj Bhavan. Now we see the cavalcade of all the ministers here. They are also entering along with him. Now the gates are getting closed, but we just saw the pictures that it was a very significant picture of Nitish Kumar smiling and leaving inside the Raj Bhavan. Now we see the other leaders also, but this is the escort. This is not the leader's vehicle. We saw the cavalcade of Nitish Kumar. None of the ministers were seen going inside. It was just the cavalcade of CM Nitish Kumar that entered into Raj Bhavan, and we see the vehicle, the cavalcade has just reached inside, and the vehicles are stopped inside. And now we will try to get you the pictures from inside Raj Bhavan, where the cavalcade has just reached. It is said that Nitish Kumar is going to give the letter of support from Mahagathbandhan, and this day, which was a crucial day today, has now, it's been 4 p.m. that Nitish Kumar had sought an appointment with the governor, and the time has come. It's just 15 minutes for the meeting, but we saw Nitish Kumar smiling and going inside Raj Bhavan just now. It was a very dramatic picture. It was just in a moment of time that he left his residence and entered into Raj Bhavan. It's just 20 meters, as we said, from CM House to Governor House, and he just entered inside the Raj Bhavan. Here we are expecting that Nitish Kumar, either he will submit, he will tender his resignation, or he will give his support of Mahagathbandhan MLAs to the Governor Phagu Chauhan. it'll be a matter of a few minutes. We say within a half an hour, he'll come out of the Raj Bhavan, and we are expecting a kind of, speech or a small reaction as to about the political developments that happened in the past few days, because in the past also he came out of the Raj Bhavan and gave us
Saurabh, stay with us because I'm also joined in by Maria Shakil on the phone line. Maria, in how much time should we now expect the resignation to be tendered in? Also, are you hearing of any reports of Tejasvi Yadav accompanying Nitish Kumar?
Yes, so Nitish Kumar is heading to the Raj Bhavan in another few minutes. So barricading has been done and the entire area from 1 Marg to the Raj Bhavan has been barricaded. There is massive police bandobast, as our viewers can see on our television screen. But for the moment, what is happening is that it is Nitish Kumar, just him going to give his resignation. And as far as the RJD support is concerned, what we can tell our viewers is, and I've spoken to top RJD sources just a few minutes ago, that they will be handing over the letter of support only later. Which means they are waiting for Nitish Kumar to resign. The moment Nitish Kumar resigns, there will be a movement that will happen by Tejasvi Yadav, where he will be handing over a letter which will have signatures of 114 MLAs. So these are MLAs of the RJD, MLAs of the Congress, and other left parties who form the Mahagathbandhan in Bihar. So the overall tally, as far as the numbers of this alliance, the new alliance is concerned, it will be going above 160, is what sources are saying. So Tejasvi Yadav and Nitish Kumar are not going to Raj Bhavan right now together. Right now, it is Nitish Kumar to make that move in which he is going to give his resignation to the governor of Bihar.
Right, Maria. And as you rightly mentioned, that the letter of support will be presented later. That also brings us to the crucial question in terms of the floor test. When can we expect the floor test, if you're learning anything from your sources?
I think floor test will be a decision that will be taken by the governor. Is that really needed? I'm not too sure. Will Nitish be open to that idea? Perhaps. He has the numbers in a strength in a 230 member Bihar Assembly, where the halfway mark is 122. Nitish Kumar, along with Tejasvi and other smaller parties, are looking at a number above 160. So they are at a strength which is 2/3 in the Bihar Assembly. So numerically they are sorted out. But there are certain modalities that have to be worked out. Earlier we were given this impression that perhaps Nitish Kumar could sack the BJP ministers just as he did in 2013 when he walked out of alliance with the BJP. This time that will not happen. So Nitish Kumar in another few minutes is heading to Raj Bhavan. You can hear the sloganeering. I'll be reaching the spot in another few minutes because I've gone to meet my sources.
Right.
And the indication certainly is that Tejasvi, with his letter, because all the MLAs in that meeting that was held, that was chaired by Tejasvi Yadav, which was also attended by other constituents of Mahagathbandhan, all the 114 MLAs have authorized Tejasvi Yadav to take a call on behalf of them. The primary concern certainly was that they should ensure the implementation of the promise that was made by Tejasvi, which was of 10 lakh jobs. So how will Bihar be getting those jobs? How will that be created? That remains to be seen. Give me just 2 minutes, I'll be...
Right, Maria, we'll keep coming back to you. Siddhant, if I could bring you in on this, the crucial meeting is going to be underway. As we've seen the entire cavalcade of Nitish Kumar head towards the Raj Bhavan. And as we all know, that he'll be also handing over the letter of support which has been presented to him by the JDU. As far as the RJD's letter of support is concerned, that should happen sometime later, as was pointed out by Maria. Siddhant, what else can we expect to emerge from this crucial meeting? Siddhant, can you hear me?
Well, yes, right now I am at Rabri Devi's residence and you can see celebrations have started. The people are coming here in large numbers, especially the RJD cadre. They are celebrating, standing on the roof of this SUV, and in fact there's a traffic jam and chaos outside Rabri Devi's residence. So on one end where Nitish Kumar has gone to Raj Bhavan to resign, on the other end celebrations have started outside Rabri Devi's residence, and there is a massive traffic jam because of the cadre coming to catch a glimpse of Tejasvi Yadav. As Maria has been reporting that after Nitish Kumar's resignation, there is a possibility of Tejasvi Yadav handing over the letter of support signed by 114 MLAs to Nitish Kumar, and that's how the new government in Bihar will be formed. Now, as far as the question of floor test is concerned, the ball is in governor's court. Both the parties will not be agreeing to the floor test initially because they have numbers with them, but whatever governor will decide, the leaders have to abide by that. These are the scenes outside Rabri Devi's residence. You can see Karyakartas have gathered, and in fact the security has also been beefed up by Patna police, and special arrangements have been made. We can expect Tejasvi Yadav to walk out any moment from now, and this is perhaps the reason that the movement of Karyakartas have increased right here. Would ask my video journalist Narendra to give a sense to viewers. This is Circular Road, high security area of Patna, completely jam-packed with RJD supporters, Congress party supporters, and remember, RJD is backed by Congress party and the left party, so all their supporters have gathered here, and there's a complete traffic jam. The cadre has started celebrating right before the resignation by Nitish Kumar. Unprecedented scenes here at Rabri Devi's residence, and in fact they are playing music, dancing, and we can expect fireworks in some time from now. Back to you.
Right, Siddhant, stay with us because we have a lot going on in Bihar at the moment. Having said that, let's also listen into some political reactions that are pouring in. Union Minister R.K. Singh has also reacted to the current developments. Let's listen it.
टेलीविज़न पर आज सवेरे से आ रहा है। ये देखिए, हम लोग के स्टेट का दुर्भाग्य है। एक तो 15 साल जो राजद का सरकार रही, उसमें बिहार बहुत पीछे चला गया। उसके बाद, और नीतीश जी भी कई बार ये बोल चुके, अब बीच में वो राजद के साथ गए भी, उसके बाद फिर छोड़ करके आए, अब फिर वापस जा रहे हैं राजद के साथ। ये किस तरह से वो अपने आप को जस्टिफाई करेंगे, ये हमारे समझ में नहीं आती है बात। ये ऐसे पार्टी के साथ जाना जिसको कि इन्होंने कई बार कहा कि भ्रष्टाचार का पर्याय है, ये जिसको कई बार इन्होंने कहा कि ये साहब बिहार को डुबा दिया इस पार्टी ने, पुनः पहले उस पार्टी में गए, उसको छोड़ करके आए, हम लोग कहा तो फिर जा रहे हैं वापस। ये किस प्रकार से ये जस्टिफाई करेंगे, ये बहुत विस्मय की बात है। और इसमें तो मैं सिद्धांत कहीं देखता ही नहीं हूँ। ये सिर्फ मैं देखता हूँ सत्ता की राजनीति ही मैं देख रहा हूँ। इसमें बिहार का भलाई हो ये मैं नहीं देख रहा।
लेकिन जिस तरह से नए गठबंधन, नए स्वरूप की बात हो रही है, जेडीयू साफ साफ कह रहे हैं कि नए गठबंधन में कैसे हम देखेंगे।
ये तो देखिए उनके मन में क्या है, ये भापना कठिन है, बहुत कठिन है। लेकिन बहुत सारे सवाल उठते हैं। ये उसमें आरजेडी तो सीनियर पार्टनर रहेगा, कितने दिनों तक इनको मुख्यमंत्री बना करके रहेगा। सीनियर पार्टनर रहते हुए कितने दिन तक तेजस्वी डिप्टी बने रहेंगे, ये भी सवाल है। और सवाल यही है कि फिर क्या बिहार को पुनः वही अंधकारमय युग देखना होगा, ये भी सवाल जनता के मन में रहेगा ना।
Alright, so that was Union Minister R.K. Singh lashing out at the return of the Mahagathbandhan. On that note, also, let's quickly get in a sense of what's happening at the Raj Bhavan. For that, I'm joined in by Maria Shakil. Maria, I'm going to talk to you about the kind of reactions and the questions that are now being raised at Mahagathbandhan 2.0. But before that, give us a sense of what's happening. Has Nitish Kumar finally arrived, and for how long is this meeting expected to last?
Yes, so Nitish Kumar, even as we speak, is inside the Raj Bhavan. He is meeting the governor, and very shortly he will be following this route and perhaps exiting. Will there be a press conference after that? And if anything, will the press conference be addressed by Nitish Kumar, or will it be done by Lalan Singh? But the power transition in Bihar has happened. Shortly, what we are being told is that Tejasvi Yadav, who has support of 114 MLAs, all of them have given in writing to Tejasvi Yadav, which has the RJD MLAs, the MLAs from the Congress party and other left parties, and they have the next move in terms of, not really the portfolios or the modalities. He has been told to really fulfill the promise that was made by RJD in the elections that took place in 2020, which was about the jobs. So Tejasvi certainly will have a big task of implementing the 10 lakh jobs which he had promised. But let's be clear, Nitish Kumar, Tejasvi Yadav will have the new power axis in Bihar. The power force from Nitish BJP has now moved to Nitish and Nitish and Tejasvi Yadav. The emergence and
be visible. This will not be the same Tejasvi that we saw in 2015. Tejasvi Yadav today is a popular mass leader of Bihar, and if anything, if you look at the numbers that RJD has, RJD is the single largest party in Bihar, and hence the numbers of RJD will make Tejasvi a strong political force. So Tejasvi, Nitish are the new axis that have emerged in Bihar, and interesting political developments that we have been tracking for the last 48 to 72 hours. We have been saying that the BJP-JDU alliance had reached a dead end, and that dead end has culmination with this movement that has just happened inside Raj Bhavan. Nitish Kumar left his one animal, entered Raj Bhavan to put in his papers to give his resignation. So far, what we are being told clearly by Camp Tejasvi forces in the RJD that they were waiting for Nitish Kumar to make the first move, and then only the letter of support from the RJD and other members of the Mahagathbandhan will be given to Nitish Kumar to ensure that the government actually happens and the power transition is smooth. But as we have been saying, let's see how events play out in the next 24 to 48 hours. It's very clear that there is an end of an alliance and the beginning of another. And in this alliance, the assertion by Tejasvi Yadav will be visible. This is a new Tejasvi, let's be clear. When we talk about Nitish Kumar 2.0, this is also Tejasvi Yadav 2.0. If in 2015, it was Lalu Yadav, his father, who played an important role in the government formation, it was Lalu Yadav, Nitish Kumar, who won that election of 2015.
The election of 2015, this time around, 2020 was all about Tejasvi Yadav. He fought the election all by himself, ensured the numbers that the RJD got, ensured the numbers also for the alliance partner, the Congress. The Congress was clearly piggy riding on Tejasvi's popularity, and we have seen how events played out. So for the moment, if anything, Nitish Kumar may be switching sides, but it is a weaker, diminished Nitish Kumar. It is stronger Tejasvi Yadav who is returning to power this time around.
Absolutely, as you rightly mentioned, and with that, that's also an official confirmation of the fact that Nitish Kumar has resigned as the current Chief Minister of Bihar. That is the breaking news on CNN News 18, brought by Maria Shakil for us right now, that Nitish Kumar has tendered in his resignation. Having said that, Maria, now that the resignation has been tendered in, I'd like you to focus on how crucial is the role of the governor now, because his duties now kick in, and should we now expect him to take a crucial decision on whether or not to go ahead with the floor test in the next 24 to 48 hours?
All the media has gathered near his house. Nitish Kumar is expected to give a sound bite to really make that confirmation that he has resigned. So Nitish Kumar resigning, and the power transition has happened. With this, the new government will be sworn in. This will be a government of Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav, and the presence of media. We are right here at Raj Bhavan, where Nitish Kumar, after tendering his resignation, has stepped out. He has also given a letter of support of 3 MLAs in all, 114 plus coming from RJD and other smaller parties which form the Mahagathbandhan. And with that, it is Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav, the new era that is beginning in Bihar.
Right, Maria, also that brings us to the next question. When can we expect the floor test to take place, and will there be one happening at all, considering you highlighted that the numbers are in favor of this new alliance?
Yes, so the alliance, look, the alliance has taken shape. We are seeing those visuals right outside the Raj Bhavan in Patna. Nitish Kumar waving now to his karyakartas, the workers of the JDU who have gathered here outside, and there can be sloganeering that can be heard where Nitish Kumar Zindabad slogans are being said. Similar enthusiasm is also seen in front of Circular Road, which is the residence of Tejasvi Yadav. So the power transition in Bihar has happened. Nitish Kumar resigning and walking out of alliance with the BJP. In fact, we can see now Nitish Kumar and others are walking. If I can get the visuals right, perhaps with the movement. In fact, that is the cavalcade of Nitish Kumar that has now moved inside one Anne Mark, which is the official chief ministerial residence. So we can expect some, in terms of what really happened, how it all played out. Nitish Kumar did step out to wave at his party workers. There has been a lot of enthusiasm, particularly as to what has been, how events have been. Upendra Kushwaha, of course, the state JDU president, giving enough hints and saying clearly that a power transition has happened. And now with that, it's very clear that Nitish Kumar, when Upendra Kushwaha said that it is the country that needs Nitish Kumar more than Bihar, the indication was that Nitish Kumar is looking at a larger national role. He will not be limiting himself to Bihar, and Nitish resigning from the BJP as the BJP JDU chief minister, and perhaps then taking charge as the chief minister of a new alliance, which is of RJD.
For RJD, Mahagathbandhan, as we talk about in the form of alliance.
Maria, I request you to stay on with us. Ridhima this side. Good evening to all our viewers. That is the big update that we continue to stay with coming in from Bihar. The alliance between the BJP and the JDU is over. We got you visuals of Nitish Kumar, who was at the Raj Bhavan. He's tendered in his resignation to the governor. This will be a new chapter as far as politics of Bihar is concerned. There will be a power transition that will take place. Our political editor, Maria Shakil, continues to be with us. Maria, before we talk to you about the math and the calculations of what this new government will look like, first talk to us about what you're seeing outside the Raj Bhavan.
Yes, so Nitish Kumar resigned at Raj Bhavan in Patna, and his entire cavalcade has walked in, which is his official residence, one Anne Mark. And you can see the sloganeering which is happening in this radius of roughly around 100 meters is the entire power center of Bihar, with the chief minister's home, the homes of various ministers, leader of opposition Tejasvi Yadav and others. So the power...
तो हमने उसी को स्वीकार कर लिया और आकर के यहाँ जो एनडीए की सरकार में है मुख्यमंत्री थे, हमने मुख्यमंत्री पद से इस्तीफा सौंप दिया।
बीजेपी से क्या परेशानी थी नीतीश जी?
बता देंगे।
आप बताइएगा नहीं नीतीश जी क्या दिक्कत हुई? आपसे क्या 24 में प्रधानमंत्री के उम्मीदवार होंगे?
Well, there you heard it from Nitish Kumar himself telling reporters and the media that हमने मुख्यमंत्री पद से इस्तीफा दे दिया है. I've resigned as the chief minister. Let's listen into what Nitish Kumar had to say once again.
कि हम लोगों को एनडीए छोड़ देना चाहिए। जैसे ही एनडीए छोड़ने का निर्णय सब लोग तो हमने उसी को स्वीकार कर लिया और आकर के यहाँ जो एनडीए की सरकार में है मुख्यमंत्री थे, हमने मुख्यमंत्री पद से इस्तीफा सौंप दिया।
बीजेपी से क्या परेशानी थी नीतीश जी?
बता देंगे।
आप बताइएगा नहीं नीतीश जी क्या दिक्कत हुई?
क्या 24 में प्रधानमंत्री के उम्मीदवार होंगे?
So as we said there, we heard it from Nitish Kumar himself, who said, yes, I've tendered in my resignation as the Chief Minister. We got you those visuals of Nitish Kumar at the Raj Bhavan shortly. So as our political editor and other reporters have been pointing out, the power transitions taken place. This will be a new chapter as far as politics of Bihar is concerned. Maria Shakil, a political editor, continues to be with us. My colleagues Saurabh and Siddhant also continue to be with us. Maria, let me come to you first. It's official now. Nitish Kumar has tendered in his resignation. What will now this mean as far as a new chapter for politics of Bihar?
Yes, that's right. So Nitish Kumar resigning and walking out of NDA, something that JDU sources had been hinting at for the last few weeks. Perhaps the movement or the developments in the last 48 hours meant that Nitish Kumar will not be continuing in alliance with the BJP. He has walked out of alliance with the JDU, with the BJP, and has formed another alliance with Tejasvi Yadav and Mahagathbandhan parties. But we'll have to wait and see whether the next movement to Raj Bhavan is by Tejasvi Yadav. So Nitish Kumar has made his move. Remember, Tejasvi Yadav, the BJP, all of them have been waiting for Nitish Kumar to make that first move. So the first move has been made by Nitish Kumar, in which he has resigned. Now what next? Will the BJP will they become more belligerent? Well, they have little options for the moment as far as the power equation in Bihar is concerned. Now Tejasvi, who has been given authority by all of his 114 MLAs, which includes, of course, of the RJD, the Congress, the left parties, CPI-ML and others, he could be very well heading to the Raj Bhavan to give that letter of support. So what we were being told clearly was that all parties in Bihar were waiting for Nitish Kumar's move. Nitish Kumar resigning, walking out of the alliance. Is this the repeat of 2013? Well, he has walked out of alliance, but does it mean that completely shut doors on him? Because Nitish Kumar visibly has shut doors on the BJP. There were a lot of events that played out, and what sources in that meeting that was called by Nitish Kumar have been telling us is that Nitish Kumar told his party MLAs that he has been betrayed, that the BJP tried to break the JDU, that the BJP tried to weaken the JDU, and he did not want any kind of new Chirag Paswan conspiracy that played out in 2020 to repeat itself in the form of RCP Singh. So all the reasons have been given by Nitish Kumar and other members of his core group, which includes Lalan Singh, who is the JDU.
Please go ahead and take a call. Hour later, Nitish Kumar went inside the Raj Bhavan, tendering his resignation. He came out and gave that soundbite. Yes, he has resigned. He is no longer part of the NDA.
Correct. Maria, I'll request you to stay on with us. Let's listen in to what Nitish Kumar had to say once again.
कि हम लोगों को एनडीए छोड़ देना चाहिए। जैसे ही एनडीए छोड़ने का निर्णय सब लोग तो हमने उसी को स्वीकार कर लिया और आकर के यहाँ जो एनडीए की सरकार में मुख्यमंत्री थे, हमने मुख्यमंत्री पद से इस्तीफा सौंप दिया।
बीजेपी से क्या परेशानी थी नीतीश जी?
बता देंगे।
आप बताइएगा नीतीश जी क्या दिक्कत हुई? क्या 24 में प्रधानमंत्री के उम्मीदवार होंगे?
So there we heard it from Nitish Kumar confirming after he met the governor at the Raj Bhavan that yes, I've tendered in my resignation, which means it's all over as far as the BJP and the JDU alliance in Bihar is concerned. What does this now mean as far as the next chapter, both for Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav? Also, more importantly, what will this now mean as far as the BJP when they become the opposition? Maria Shakil, a political editor, continues to be with us. My colleague Saurabh Rathore also continues to be with us. Saurabh, let me come to you. Now that it's official, Nitish Kumar has tendered in his resignation. What is the mood on the ground? We had seen the supporters break into celebration as far as JDU Karyakartas were concerned. What are you seeing around you?
I'm sorry, it's a disturbance in my earpiece. But
we're also getting live
update
visuals now coming in from outside of Rabri Devi's residence in Patna. But Saurabh, please go ahead. What are you seeing around you? What is the mood on the ground?
It was just a matter of 10 minutes that everything turned, the wind turned in Bihar. CM Nitish Kumar comes out of his residence from Vananamal and then he enters into gate number 2 of Raj Bhavan. And within 5 minutes he tenders his resignation and comes out from gate number 5, gives a small reaction that he has tendered his resignation. Now and then he leaves to his residence. Now we are waiting here for the other chapter of the story. The RJD and the other, left parties and Congress, they all are going to come again at this place. This is Raj Bhavan, and it is said that the Mahagathbandhan leaders, they are going to give their letter of support to Governor Tejasvi. In fact, Tejasvi Yadav will hand over the letter of support to the governor, and we are learning that Tejasvi is all set to leave Rabri's residence. In a short while, he'll be leaving from there, and it won't take more than 10 minutes or 5 minutes to reach at this spot. So another sequence of action is to be witnessed within 10 or 15 minutes when the Mahagathbandhan leaders will arrive at his residence, and then Tejasvi will leave inside. Now, if we talk about given by Nitish Kumar, he resigned.
Okay.
But
we just seem to be losing that connection with Saurabh. We'll try and re-establish that. My colleague Siddhant is also now joining us. Siddhant, while, there are multiple reactions coming in, the BJP is hit out at Nitish Kumar. We just heard a press conference from Chirag Paswan. Also, while we do know that what this means as far as Nitish Kumar is concerned, a lot of questions also now being raised on what does this mean as far as Tejasvi Yadav is concerned, because this is a question which is being raised by the BJP, that for how long will Tejasvi Yadav be okay to be in a position as far as the deputy is concerned?
Well, it's a very important day for Tejasvi Yadav because his clout as a politician has increased. You see the difference. Before this, when they formed the government, Nitish had upper hand in the government. This time around, after resigning, Nitish Kumar, Chief Minister of Bihar, is coming straight to Rabri Yadav's residence, where he's going to meet Rabri Yadav and Tejasvi Yadav. Historic moment in the politics of Bihar, where Nitish Kumar is going to meet Tejasvi Yadav and Rabri Yadav. Rabri and Tejasvi are not going to meet Nitish Kumar. So there's a difference. So this gesture also gives out a message that Nitish Kumar is also giving away his legacy to Tejasvi Yadav. Now, as before this, Tejasvi used to take a pot shot at Nitish Kumar by saying Paltu Chacha. But this time around, Nitish Kumar is going to follow Chacha Dharam for Tejasvi Yadav and hand him over the power and the legacy that belongs to him. This is a clear